really understand sometimes what a terrible burden it is to know some of the things that I know. And try to wake people up and impart this knowledge to them. And find out that they just have walls built in front of them. They want to be slaves.
Now I risk sounding like a conspiracy theorist, but it's no longer a theory. What I'm about to say is fact. The secret organizations of the world power elite are no longer secret. They have planned and are now leading us into a one-world communist government.
Ja, idag är det den 9 september och vi sitter här 3 stycken runt ett bord nere i Rom för att spela in den här podcasten. Och ja, vi hade ju tidigare i våras, eller sensommaren, så hade vi ett föredrag med Simon där han presenterat sina teorier om 9/11, och nu har jag och Patrik fått äran att komma ner och besöka honom i Rom. Så att vi sitter i hans fina villa och med en jättefin utsikt över staden. Och ja, vi tänkte då passa på att få en lite närmare intervju med Simon gällande hans arbete då. Och det viktigaste delen när det gäller att förstå 9/11, det är hur de arbetar, och vad jag skulle säga är Vixim-report som går in på att i stort sett ingen dog den här dagen, och det är det som många, alla de andra som har teorier kring 9/11, de låser sig vid att det fortfarande var 3000 människor som dog, men den här Vixim-report kan på ett väldigt utförligt sätt visa att så inte är fallet, och det är ett ganska stort och genomarbetat dokument som kräver att man läser igenom det. Och ja, ska vi bolla över ordet till Simon då. Hur kom det sig att ni började med Vixim-report? Vad var det som gjorde att du kompletterade September Clues-arbetet med själva Vixim-report?
Jo, det var det att det var den tidpunkten där September Clues var färdig en bra stund sedan. Den hade kommit ut i 2007. Och i 2009 var det som Hoi Polloi, som är min närmaste medarbetare i September Clues-forskningen. Han kom hit och stannade i 6 månader. För att vi började då tänka, om det var så att det var inga flygerna var gjorda med digital teknologi, det var computer graphics. Om det var så att det hela var en spex, liksom, om man kan kalla det så, så kan det vara möjligt. Och därför det var ju så att om det inte var någon flyg så var det inga passagerare som omkom. Nej. Så då började jag tänka, var det kanske också inga människor i tornen som omkom. Och det var ju liksom bara en postulation på den tidpunkten. Vi började undra, kan det vara möjligt? Men vi satte oss ner och metodiskt tittade på alla de här memorials som finns på internet. Det finns flera memorials, de är officiella. Det är CNN Memorial, och så är det Voices of September, så de är den helt officiellaste. Den som är alltså med museumet i Ground Zero som nu finns, där man kan gå och betala för att se på alla de här fjeserna.
Ja, precis.
Och vi har ju studerat då i 6 månader alla de här, det skulle vara då människor som hade inte klarat att komma ut från tornen i tid. Och det första vi märkte att från en memorial till den andra, som alla var som sagt officiella memorialer, så var det stora skillnader. Det var några som sa det var 2720, andra som sa det var 2890. Och det var lite konstigt så många år efter. Det var ju 2009, det var liksom 8 år efter. Så hade de fortfarande inte riktiga nummer en gång. Och det tyckte vi ju konstigt. förstås detsamma. Men sen så gick vi djupare och började titta på då finns det ett bilder då för varenda victim som vi nu kallar victim, som betyder simulated victim. Därför heter det the victim report. Och vi såg då att det var först och främst var det väldigt dåliga bilder och hemska. Vi undrar hur kan en familj ge ett så dåligt bilder av sin bror eller pappa eller son som omkom den dagen. Väldigt dåliga, hemskt dålig kvalitet och sånt. Men sen så började vi liksom lägga upp dem sida vid sida i olika alfabetsordningar och så började vi märka att det var liksom de var skapade helt algoritmiskt, både namnen och till och med ibland så var det till och med utseendena som var liksom kom i rad liksom efter varandra. Så då allting verkade artificiellt. Och det tog oss bara en liten stund att se det. Men som sagt, vi var här 6 månader och gick ännu längre och så liksom, kan vi försöka hitta några familjer här? Kan vi försöka se om någon verkligen svarar eller någonting så. Vi har gjort absolut allt. Vi prövade alla metoder för att se om de här människorna som sägs omkom den dagen, om de verkligen hade existerat. Och kort sagt så var svaret nej. Efter 6 månader. Så vi har jobbat hårt. Men det var liksom helt otroligt för oss också. Förstås. Det tog ju lång stund att uppfatta detta. Men nu idag, 2017, så har vi ju sett alla de här terroristattackerna som vi får från medien. Det är berättelser. Det är Paris, London, Stockholm. Det har ju människor äntligen börjat se. Att det är någonting helt konstigt med dem.
Precis.
Och det är bara medieberättelser. Och det är absolut staged events. Och där också är det ingen som dör.
Nej.
Fast de har en network liksom av människor som... hur gör de det vet vi inte precis. Men liksom, då får ju då många människor med på det och snackar. Det är liksom ord... ear to ear, vad heter det på svenska liksom?
Från mun till mun.
Från mun till mun, ja just det. Så blir det då människor som säger, jag tror jag kände någon vän där som omkom. Vad säger du? Du kan inte säga att den familjen ljuger.
Nej.
Men det är alltid sån där liksom, det är aldrig direkt kontakter och sånt som men de har ju förstås satt upp en struktur som gör att vi måste tro på att det är människor som dör i de här terroristattackerna. Men det är bara en plan de har som går framåt. De gör terroristattacker i alla storstäder idag. Och nu har de börjat göra det med lastbilar och bilar och sånt. Det är the new trend. Precis. Men långt tillbaka i 2009 så hade vi redan vi hade uppfattat att de mördar inte människor med de här terroristattackerna. Det är allting är fast. Och det är ju logiskt att de skulle göra det, för att vad vill de åstadkomma? De vill bara åstadkomma att vi ska liksom vara rädda och ha liksom angst i våra liv. Och de tror väl att det är så de måste göra för att hålla makten, de här människorna, vem det nu är, och det kan man ju spekulera om. Men det är klart att detta händer idag.
Precis. Ja. Så när man kollar igenom den här Victim Report så finns det ju det finns ju bilder på en del kända personer som också idag är framträdande inom konspirationsvärlden. Kan du berätta om vilka du har hittat där?
Ja, det här hörs ju ännu konstigare ut, men så är det att vi har alltså hittat bland de här listorna, bland de här bilderna som de har gett ut som bland de här 3000 ungefär som dog. Bland de ansiktena så har vi hittat verkligen inte bara alltså människor som liknar precis, men vi tar ett exempel, Alex Jones till exempel, som är en väldigt känd conspiracy theorist. Han heter Robert Emmerich Jones och skulle ha dött den dagen. Och han är helt, han ser ut precis, det ser ut som en ung Alex Jones på den memorial-listan. Och han är då inte den enda, det finns ungefär, det finns 12 stycken ungefär av de här människor som nu säger att de vill ha sanningen och sånt, de har lent their faces to the memorial. Alltså de har du kan ta, jag menar, de har varit, för att vara med, de är ju inblandade med detta och från day one så var de det tydligen. Och det är väl inte en slags inside joke de har gjort. De har fått alltså. Sen är det Luke Rutkowski som ska vara ledaren av We Are Change, som är också en sån där truth movement. Det finns en kille som heter Lukas Milewski. Alltså Luka Rudowskis riktiga namn ska vara Lukas Rutkowski. Och så finns det en precis liknande kille som skulle ha dött i memorial list som heter Lukas Milewski. Och Rudowski är Rud, och Mile på polska betyder snäll, det betyder precis det opposite. Så det är en slags ordlek där man håller på med det. Men det är nästan det blir nästan lite esoteriska saker som jag berättar nu, men de har gjort väldigt många konstiga saker. Och de har kanske haft roligt med de här människorna. Det är säkert väldigt konstiga människor som hittar på det här.
Ja.
Men man följer då på, om man riktigt tittar noga så kommer man fram till såna här saker också. Nu har vi gått lite för mycket detalj kanske. Det finns större och viktigare saker att prata om victims. Men som du säger, de har alltså byggt en lista av falska människor och till och med människor som fortfarande lever.
Precis.
Ja, det är jätteintressant. Och jag sitter och tänker på det att en sak som, alltså om man nu kommer till den punkten att man ifrågasätter 9/11 då, alltså den officiella versionen, vilket hände mig för en tid sedan. Det man gör då, det är att man börjar liksom snurra omkring på YouTube och internet och titta efter förklaringar. Och då ramlar man ju ner i någon slags snårskog av massa olika idéer. Och man försöker att titta på det ena och titta på det andra och försöka klura ut vad var det egentligen som hände. Vad finns det för vettig förklaring till det här? Men det är väldigt svårt att hitta någonting. Men om man har tur eller får goda tips så kan det ju hända att man ramlar in på det här med September Clues och Victim Reports. Och det jag ser är det att det gör ju, alltså de här handlingarna eller den här videon, det här dokumentet, det gör ju det första man borde göra i en sån situation. Och det är att titta på det här. Vad finns det för material? Jo, det finns de här bilderna. Och de omständigheterna kring det. Och det är liksom inga andra, tycker jag, som säger sig undersöka 9/11 som gör det. Som tittar på det här med bilderna. Hur ser de, är de en verklig återspegling av en verklig händelse? Nej, jag uppfattar det inte så.
Nej.
Och just den här Victim Report, jag tycker den är en så viktig del i det här om man vill liksom titta på 9/11 och göra sin research. För den visar ju verkligen den här det problematiska med alla de här offren. Att nej, det verkar inte vara riktiga offer. Det verkar inte finnas. Och det är ett fantastiskt dokument, ett pdf-dokument med högupplösta bilder så att man själv kan granska dem. Man kan ju verkligen titta på dem i detalj och se det här vettigt ut. Och sen alla de här märkliga mönstren då, det verkar som de har genererat personer på löpande band då liksom.
Ja, på löpande band.
Och skrivit lite liknande så här. Och det är ju ganska måste ju vara ganska jobbigt att generera 3000 identiteter.
Ja, men det var en stor operation. Så att de har ju planerat många år i förväg. 9/11 har ju varit planerat i många år. Det har vi också. När jag säger vi så säger jag alla vi som har tittat lite grann på 9/11 har ju sett att i många Hollywoodfilmer så är det ju syften till 9/11 allt för många gånger för att det ska bara vara en slump.
Exakt.
Så det har varit en stor operation som var planerad många år sedan. Jag vågar inte säga hur många, men det är väldigt många. Och så att det här med att göra 3000 falska ansikten var bara en liten del, men en väldigt viktig del som faktiskt är den viktigaste enligt mig. För att det är ju det att det är så många människor som tycker 9/11 är konstigt, men de kommer inte fram till, jag menar, de klarar inte tänka eller imagine att de är som skulle ha dött var helt non-existent. De har aldrig existerat. Då frågar de sig, hur gjorde de då med de i tonerna som, men tonerna var tomma. Och vi vet i alla fall precis hur de tömde tonerna och när, kan vi inte vara säkra på, men vi vet att det är 1993. Alltså det var ju 8 år före. 8 år före så gjorde de en annan sån här bogus attentat i garaget. Det skulle ha varit 6 människor som omkom den gången. Det skulle vara en liten bomb under garaget. Och det var pretext, vad det nu heter på svenska. Det var liksom startskottet för att kunna säga, nu måste vi renovera alla tornarnas security, så vi tömmer tornarna nu. Det står i en bok, all the tenants of the towers and all the workers were relocated in ample space around Manhattan. Alltså de bara gick ut från tornarna och de fick jobba någon annan plats efter 93. Stod då tornarna tomma i 8 år? Det vet vi inte, men vi vet också till exempel att de hade stora problem att hyra ut igen de här the offices. Och det var liksom, ingen ville ta dem och sånt. Sen fanns det filmer som gjorde, de sa, vill ni ha en adress i tornarna? Ja, då kan ni få köpa idén att ha en byrå, en office i tornarna. Genom oss, så ger ni oss lite pengar och så jag vill så att det ser ut som ni har en office. Om du kanske hade en firma i Philadelphia och du vill liksom visa att du också hade en fin filial i tornarna, så kunde du få det. Men det var virtual, det var bara helt... Så det fanns alltså filmer som gjorde så att det såg ut som det var människor i tornen. Sen var det ju då turister som gick upp till taket och allting, men de fick inte, jag varit där och man får inte lov att gå ut från hissen, men man åker upp till taket. Så det kan gott vara att tornen bara stod tomma i flera år. Jag vet inte hur många år, men de preparerade det långt i förhand. Så att man ska sluta och tro att tornen är fulla av workers den morgonen. Den tisdag morgonen. Det kan man gott förklara och förstå. Så då tornen var tomma. De ville inte ta knäcken på 3000 människor. Det skulle ha varit allt för komplicerat. Det skulle ju ha varit då alla människor som från Wall Street som omkom då. Wall Street brokers och insurance people. White collar workers. Viktiga människor som har bra advokater och familjer som har clout. Det vill de inte ha. De vill inte ha 3000 sådana människor som omkom. Det tycker jag låter lynklart idag, men det var det inte. Back in the days. Men nu är det lynklart för mig i alla fall. Och jag hoppas att människor kan liksom försöka och komma fram till den här slutsatsen.
Ja, men det är ju liksom, alltså det är ju det är en psykisk blockering där liksom, men jag tror människor har väldigt svårt att tänka sig det här att det är på det här sättet att de här människorna då som åker världen runt och gråter inför tv-kameror över sina anhöriga då, att det skulle vara skådespelare, att de bara gör ett jobb. Det är väldigt svårt att tänka sig, men tyvärr så är det.
Så är det då.
Det är den rimliga slutsatsen man kan komma fram till. Och sen om man vill liksom stämma av saker med verkligheten, jag tänker på det att man kan gå in och titta i officiella amerikanska databaser över hur många var det som dog den dagen. Hur många registrerade döda finns det?
Precis.
Och det finns inte 3000.
Nej, det skulle ha varit då en peak den dagen. Och det finns inte. Det skulle vara 3000 mer plötsligt en dag i de här databaserna. Det finns inte.
Och hur förklarar vi det?
Ja, hur förklarar vi det?
Precis.
Så det är, allting tyder på att det var no victims at all den dagen. Och ja, men det har blivit konfirmerat med tiden. För alla de här andra dumma små, mycket mindre fake terror attacks över hela världen. Och vi ser till och med samma skådespelare ibland från Paris och i Madrid, va? Vi ser de samma människorna som har det här jobbet och bara låtsas som de har tappat en make eller ett barn eller så det är en sån grupp som gör detta. Ja, var håller de till? Ja, det måste vi en dag måste vi förstå det, men det finns ingen. There's no doubt about it. Det finns en sån struktur.
Ja.
Ja, men utifrån det då, om man tänker så här, hur kan vi resonera kring vad det var som egentligen hände den dagen? Hur gick det till det här då? Det fanns inga personer i tornen, förmodligen då. Och den här filmen som du har gjort, Simon, September Clues, den tittar ju väldigt mycket på det. Eller liksom, den ger ju någon slags kontext i alla fall som man kan fundera kring. Hur gick den här händelsen egentligen till?
Okej. Ja. Väldigt enkelt sätt. Jag menar, om man ser det från en militär synpunkt så var det en väldigt enkel operation. För det äldsta trick i military strategier är att bruka rökmaskiner. Det hade de redan i första världskriget. De hade rökmaskinen som i ett kick några få sekunder eller minuter kunde täcka en stor del av en by. Så de bara sände rökmaskiner på morgonen. Så ingen fattade någonting. Och det var då klockan 8 på morgonen, så är det inte många människor i Manhattan i alla fall. Jag menar, Wall Street öppnar klockan 10. Så därför valde de att börja sådär och göra det på morgonen. Så redan kanske före 8:46 när det här första flyget skulle ha kraschat, så var det nog text som såg ut som lite dimma då. Ingen såg någonting av tornen. Bakom det så drog de ner tornen med dynamit. Var en vanlig sån där controlled demolition. Behövdes inga specialvapen för att dra ner de tornen. Men så det var det. De drog ner tornerna bakom rök. Ingen förstod någonting. Och sen så var det ingenting att filma. Det var liksom ingenting att filma. Det var bara rök. Och om någon hade filmat röken och sagt: ja, titta. Titta här, jag filmade i röken klockan 8. Och det var ju före första flyget kom. Men hur ska han gå och bevisa det liksom? Då ska liksom hans timestamp och hans kamera, som på den tiden inte fanns på den kameran, men det skulle varit jättesvårt att bevisa det då. Och det var liksom de hade inget problem med att någon skulle filma någonting. Och sen hade
de hade förberett i själva 9/11-materialet. Willie Rodriguez, han den här brandmannen som sa att det var bomb.
Nej, han var inte brandman. Han var det janitor. Okay. Han var liksom han som städade historierna. Så den här mexikansk kille, stor och kraftig. Som nu fortfarande åker runt i världen och säger: jag har någonting intressant att berätta. Jag var längst nere i underground, alltså i garagen någonstans, lower levels. Och jag hörde boom. Därför vi kallar honom Willie Boom Rodriguez. Han går runt och säger boom, säger han. Och vad var det då? Ja, det var de hade bomber före flygerna kraschades, för var det bomber. Ja, varför säger han det då, den här pajasen? Jo, det är väl nog för att liksom göra så att om någon skulle liksom säga: hej, jag såg rök runt tornen före klockan 8:46. Ja, men det var ju bomberna som Willie Rodriguez hörde, va? Så det blev väl rök från det. Och så de har liksom planerat allting. Och så har de speciella agenter som åker runt i världen och låtsas att de är whistleblowers. De låtsas som att de säger någonting väldigt dramatiskt. Men de betalade för det. Och Willie Rodriguez uppenbarligen en sån figur. Han blev då, han gick och kramade George Bush efterpå. Han skulle vara en hero för att han sa någonting. Det är underförstått att de här bomberna skulle ha varit Al-Qaida också som hade lagt bomberna, va? Det var liksom bara en förspel kanske. De låg också bomber i garaget. Så det är ingenting som är farligt att säga. Men det var liksom probably the meaning was, ja, det skulle då förklara varför det var så mycket rök i Lower Manhattan. Alltså det låg ju rök ända till kvällen när solen gick ner, så var det fortfarande hela där Lower Manhattan täckt i en enorm moln. Som, om du tänker på det, om det hade bara varit 2 torn, okej, de ganska stora, men när du drar ner 2 byggningar här så hänger det lite rök för en kvart kanske, eller en halvtimme, inte 5-6 timmar. Nej. Men det var ju det som hände i verkligheten. Det hängde stort moln över. Ja, men det var artificiell rök. Det var artificiell rök som kan vara så länge. Och de ville att det skulle se dramatiskt ut. Så de bara pumpade ut rök hela eftermiddagen. Hela dagen. Från morgon till kväll. Ja, men det var så enorma mängder rök så det kan inte representera 2 torn som faller. Nej. Och det var inte mycket cement, det var ståltorn. Varför skulle det vara så mycket rök?
Ja, jag tänker på det här med Manhattan, som ju är en halvö i nedre delen av New York. Hur kunde man hålla människor borta från det stället den dagen då?
Ja. Manhattan är ju liksom en halvö, va? Ja. Ganska lätt liksom logistiskt att kontrollera om du har hela Amerikas government eller shadow government bakom. Du bara stänger tillgången till den delen av Manhattan som ligger längst ner, det Lower Manhattan. Och så stängde de också tunnelbanan. Det vet jag från en god vän som faktiskt skulle ta tunnelbanan i tornen den morgonen. Men då var de på strejk. Det var strejk på tunnelbanan. Så att ingen kunde komma ner till den delen av New York på den morgonen. Det finns flera vittnen, troliga vittnen, som säger att nej, det var liksom roadblocks här. Men då tror man att kanske de roadblocks sattes upp efterpå. Men troligen så var de bara lite tidigare. Du sätter upp roadblock klockan 7 på morgonen så kommer ingen in dit. För att det är inte liksom en bolig area. Det är ju mest bara officer, så det finns inte så många människor som bor där. Och de flesta kommer ju då på morgonen. Om du stoppar tillgång dit så har du liksom the area under control. Och sen så hade den här röken, ingen vågar ju gå nära som två torn som röker så mycket. Men ingen skulle, man skulle ju sett det då från långt håll och sagt, idag går jag inte till jobbet för det ser ju inte bra ut här.
Precis. Jag går hem och kollar på tv istället och ser vad det är som händer.
Jag går hem och kollar på tv och ser vad som händer.
Och där var det ingen rök. Ja. Vad konstigt. Ja. Ja, nej.
Precis.
Och sen var ju, och Manhattan var ju naturligtvis avstängt i veckor efter den här händelsen också då. Det är väl inget konstigt med det, eftersom kan man ju, alltså inget konstigt att motivera det då, eftersom den här hemska saken hade hänt då.
Nej, just det.
Men då hade man ju också möjlighet att om det var något som inte hade...
Det var helt avstängt. De gjorde liksom... De kunde inte gå till Ground Zero efter. Nej. Det var helt avstängt. Så det var liksom... Det är inte så svårt att kontrollera. Men när man har så mycket resurser som de här kriminella människorna hade, så är det inte svårt att föreställa sig att man kan kontrollera en morgon en del av New York. Och det tror jag är det minsta problemet i det hela, för att uppfatta hur de gjorde det. Och sen var det bara inga flyg, ingenting att filma. De gjorde ungefär 50 små videoklipp som visar flygen kommer, men de gjorde dem ganska dåligt för att de tillsvarar ju inte varandra. Flyget kommer från olika håll och så då ser vi flyget bara smälta in i tornet och inga vingar som bryts av, och det är bara helt bluff alltihopa. Kan ju inte hända i verkligheten. Nej.
Men det är ju där som många av de andra som är inne på 9/11-spåret, där gör de ju det fatala misstaget att alla andra stirrar sig blinda på foto- och videomaterialet och utgår från det i sin forskning. Och där liksom är den punkten.
Absolut. Alltså det som absolut aldrig ska snackas om, jag menar, som de inte vill. är video- och fotomaterial, för det är en enormt viktig del i Amerikas black operations. Alltså man brukar, sen de hittar på film, så har de liksom fått idén om, ja, nu ska vi bruka filmer och nu lägger vi in en tv i varenda hushåll och så kan vi berätta precis vad vi vill. Och det är det som de gör. Jag menar, det kan låta tokigt, men jag menar, titta lite oftare på tv och se hur många saker som liksom är väldigt konstiga ut. De brukar nu ha den Hollywood-tekniken. Vi har alla sett en Hollywood-film. Och nu ser vi hur fantastiska special effects de kan göra. De kan ju simulera allting. De kan folkmängder som springer runt i en stad, och det är intressant. Det är bara gjort i studio. Ja, 10 år sedan så kanske de hade lite mindre så fina medel, men dock hade de, och 50 år sedan hade de sådana medel. Jag menar, det är det som vi också gör på forum igår, och historiskt och ser hur långt tillbaka har de haft sådana här special effects som kan liksom simulera nästan vad som helst. Jo, det finns till exempel en rysk film 1956. Där vi ser astronauter som går upp i en raket. Och så plötsligt är de väktslösa. De börjar snurra runt i kabinen. Och det är inte en karton. Det ser helt verkligt ut. Och det var gjort i 1956. Det är väldigt, väldigt sofistikerat. Man ser inga trådar och ingenting. Men man ser bara de här astronauter som, precis som vi ser dem nu i Space Station. Det var lika bra och lika troligt. Så det är många år de har haft de här teknikerna.
Jag tänkte, när du säger forum nu, Simon, då menar du cluesforum.info. Och det är en fantastisk resurs att gå och titta på. Det finns väldigt mycket intressant material där. Men för att gå tillbaka till 9/11 och det här då, alltså jag tänker bara det när jag hör det här, att det finns just de här psykologiska spärrarna, tankar som människor har väldigt svårt att tänka sig. Och det är dels det här med att vi har skådespelare som åker runt och gråter över anhöriga som aldrig har funnits. Och sen har vi också den här tanken att media, alla tv-kanaler som sänder någonting om 9/11 den dagen, är fullständigt involverade i det här. Och det de sänder är inga riktiga livebilder från deras kameror, utan det är en film som har getts dem i förväg och som de kör olika delar av under den här dagen. Och det har människor väldigt svårt att tänka sig att det förhåller sig så.
Och de lägger in ganska mycket godis för konspirationsteoretiker, just för att man ofta tror då att det är live, eftersom det står ju live längst ner i ena hörnet, så att då måste det ju förstås vara live.
Ja, visst.
Så att då tänker man då att men i början bara titta på originella material som kommer ut direkt vid händelsen, så hinner de inte släta över sina misstag, utan om jag fångar dem då så kan jag avslöja dem. Men liksom de sitter ju fortfarande och stirrar sig blinda på det här materialet, och det är precis det som är avsikten med det hela då.
Det är det. Det är det. Man måste också förstå att, jag menar, efter att vi såg hur falska flygen var, det var ju bara det andra flyget då som vi har kanske 50 små clips. Det första flyget skulle bara ha varit filmat bara av 2 människor. Det var ingen som förväntade sig det första flyget. Alltså det finns bara 1 eller 2 små clips. Och de är alla falskare än den andra. Men de hade ju då 50 stycken för det andra flyget. För att vi skulle då tro att det var så många där, så var det morgonen som klarade det. Okej, men sen har vi gått längre. Sen, det var ju då vad var det om att göra? Det var om att göra en fullständigt fake operation och sända det på tv. Det skulle vara prefabricated, det skulle vara färdigt. Ingen kunde få lov att gå dåligt. De kunde inte göra någonting on the fly. Live. De kunde inte göra falsifiera så här liksom on the fly. Så de hade preparerat allting. Och man måste förstå att de hade till och med preparerat the collapses. Alltså när vi ser de här tornen som exploderar från toppen och bara ramlar ner som sandtorn, eller sandcastles. Det kan ju heller inte hända i verkligheten. Det är vem som helst, man behöver inte vara fysiker för att förstå att. Ja, men då hade de tänkt på saken. Många människor har sett Independence Day, va? Ja, den kom ut 1999 tror jag, 2 år före. Och vad ser vi i den filmen? Vi ser Empire State Building som exploderar from the top och faller ner, top down. Precis som tonerna gjorde. Så det var liksom sån där, vad heter det nu? Preprogrammering av våra sinnen. Alltså vi ska se den saken på en film och kanske tro att det kan verkligen hända. Att en skyskrapare exploderar på toppen och sen så ramlar resten ner för tyngdkraft. Eller vadå?
Pancake-effekt säger
Pancake-effekt, ja. Men det sitter alltså människor tittar på och titta här ser vi lite puff. Ja, det är säkert Control Demolition. Ja, det var ju Control Demolition. Men själva videon är gjord i en studio. Det är gjord i Hollywood. Videon av de 2 tonerna som går ner, de var prefabricated. Det är computer graphics.
Men där sitter ju många, för det läget hamnar ju jag i när jag undersökte 9/11. Det är ju den här journalisten som står med hela New York skyline som en vy i bakgrunden. Och där ser man då byggnad 7 i bakgrunden. Hon rapporterar om att byggnaden redan har fallit.
Ja, just det.
Det är också en sån här...
Jane Stanley från BBC. Ja, just det. Hon stod framför ett fönster såg det ut som. Ja. Och liksom live. Vet du. Ja. And we hear about Tower 7. It's apparently collapsed. Men medan hon säger det så står Tower 7 bakom henne i fönstret. Ja. Så hur gick det till liksom? Det var en tabbe kanske. Antingen var det en tabbe eller bara så lägger de in såna här saker för att man ska snacka om man ska ha. De vill att det ska vara conspiracy theorist. Ja. De vill att det ska vara så många som möjligt. Men alla ska tyda till att sakerna händer som vi såg på TV. Så att då kan du låta 100 000 conspiracy theorists flytta runt. Och det är det. De har klarat det. Och det finns många sådana experter som säger jag är expert, jag kommer med sanningen till er. Som är betalda för att göra det, först och främst. Okej? Här sitter jag, hur ska jag säga att jag är inte betald till det, men jag bara hoppas att människor ser det för att genom hur långt liksom vi har kommit, hur vi bevisar detta. Jag hoppas att my work är vad som behövs för att förstå att jag är inte bland dem som gör detta som som är betald för att göra. Jag är inte betald av någon och jag bara har jobbat så mycket med andra goda vänner och goda medhjälpare och vi har kommit fram till den här slutsatsen som är en slutsats som förklarar liksom allting, tycker jag. Tror jag förklarar bättre.
Ja, nej, och jag håller med. Eller liksom, alltså i den här man ser den största logiken och den största rimligheten i det här den researchen som du har gjort, Simon. Och jag tänker också det här att om man nu ska göra en sån här operation, den ska gå av stapeln. Man går och lägger sig den 10 september. Ja. Alltså, hur kan man vara säker på att allting kommer att gå rätt den här stora dagen 11 september 2001 då? Jo, man har gjort allting i förväg. Och så spelar man upp den filmen. Då vet man att allting kommer att gå så som man vill att det ska göra. Så att, ja. Och det blir väldigt krångligt och trassligt om man ska göra spränga massa saker och flyga med flygplan. Och det är väldigt mycket som kan gå galet då. Om man har spelat in en film i förväg, då kan man vara tämligen trygg på med att det kommer att funka. Det enda är ju att den här filmen ska rulla när den ska då och komma ut i alla tv-kanaler. Och
det enda andra är kanske några vittnen i New York som kan märka någonting konstigt. Men det är ju inte... Hur kan om någon hade vittnades någonting konstigt som var där?
Ja, så länge inte
går den till polisen, går den till CNN eller Fox och säger till titta jag såg någonting helt annat än vad jag såg på TV.
Du kan komma tillbaka imorgon så ska vi titta på det.
Förstår du? Jag menar de hade inte ens det problemet. Att det skulle vara vittnen som såg något annat än vad vi såg på TV. Det var det minsta problemet de hade.
Ja, för de har ju absolut inte medlet att nå ut på till en större publik med den här informationen. Och just då så satt ju alla klistrade över sina tv-apparater. Och sen så blir ju alla breven också indoktrinerade så att man liksom faller in i någon slags flockbeteende också, att man vill inte liksom vara annorlunda än alla andra, utan man går dit flocken går.
Ja, det är viktigt också.
Ja, att ha den egenskapen.
Det är viktig synpunkt, ja. Bra.
Men sen under resans gång så har det ju dykt upp ett antal personer på arenan. Jag tänker på i boken 1984 så är det kontentan är ju att systemet kontrollerar sin egen opposition, och det vet ju de att det är det bästa sättet att få folk att gå dit man vill ha dem. Så då har bland annat Judy Woods döks väl upp 2010 var det? Och,
ungefär, ja, hon kom upp 2010 tänker jag. Ja, vad har hon gjort? Hon är en viktig sån här figur för dem som organiserar 9/11, för att hon går runt också då i världen och gör konferenser och visar massa bilder, våra bilder. Titta här och titta här och titta på den här videon och titta på bilderna.
Det var väldigt fina och högupplösta bilder som inte fanns 2001 heller, va? Utan de kommer först
senare. Just det. Ja, precis. De hade jag aldrig sett. Plötsligt kommer jag fram bilder som jag har sett det där i många år och aldrig sett dem. Jag har sett det i år letar efter alla bilder som jag kunde hitta. Plötsligt kommer det ut i 2010 en hel 4,7 gigabytes med nya bilder, va? Stillbilder. Och lite video också. Ja, också video. Och då, plötsligt så hade de jättefina high resolution bilder som aldrig hade existerat. I 9 år hade de legat då och då i en låda. Någon hade glömt dem i en låda. Nej, det gjorde de för att de behövde liksom fastställa ännu bättre. Nej, men här finns det har blivit filmat från alla vinklar det här. Så då kom den här nya batch av bilder ut 2010. Och här kommer Judy Wood och beskriver detta och har sin teori att för att du ser tonerna pulveriserar sig. Det måste vara en väldigt speciell weapon. Directed energy, någonting som aldrig någon kan komma, vi kan aldrig få veta liksom hur de gjorde det, men det är säkert sådana secret weapons från en miljö. Det är så mystifikation, vet du.
Ja, man skulle kunna säga det att hon har en Independence Day-teorin kring 9/11 liksom. Att det var något mystiskt vapen som pulveriserade tonen på något mystiskt sätt. Precis som vi såg i...
Från Space kanske. Men det var ju det som teman i Independence Day, precis. Det var det att det kom ju då som aliens, var det inte det? Alien spaceships som då pulveriserade i Empire State Building uppifrån.
Det skulle ju också kunna förklara då all den här röken som hängde sig kvar väldigt märkligt länge då den här dagen. För att det sker ju inte om man gör någon vanlig kontrollerad sprängning av någonting. Då har man inte så mycket rök, men om det är något mystiskt vapen som
pulveriserar. Dustification. Det ordet brukar de.
Dustification.
Ja, det var ju också precis som Willie Rodriguez. Titta, Judy Wood gör precis samma sak. Hennes roll är för att justify the smoke. Det enda problemet de hade är att alla såg hela varianten full med smoke. Någon måste ju till och med idag ställa sig frågan, varför var det så mycket smoke? Det var bara 2 torn. Hur stora de än var, men jag menar 5-6 timmar helt till solen gick ner, så var den täckt i en enorm tjock rökmoln. Impenetrable to the human eye. Så det är vad man gör, det är den gamlaste militärkrigen, jag upprepar, den gamlaste militärkrigen i världen. Bara smoke, screen, och bakom det så kan de göra vad de vill och ingen förstår någonting.
Så, och sen en annan person som har dykt upp efter vägen som har lite likheter med dig också. Det är ju han som jag var inne på sist innan jag gick in på September Clues, och det är en person som heter Ace Baker. Kan du berätta lite om honom?
Ja, han drog dem ut för att de skulle då troligen då ta över från mig liksom idén då. Så då skapade de den här figuren som är musiker som mig och som kan video som mig och som liknar mig på olika sätt. Och så gjorde han då en video, men flera år efter. Men väldigt fin och hög standard av videomaking. Jag tror inte det är han i Spekel som vi ser som har gjort det själv.
Han har nog ett team bakom sig.
Ja, det är en bra team. Så att då förstår man ju bättre vad de gör. Men om det är någon som mig som hittar liksom, nyckeln till de här, måste de ha en karaktär som tar över. Och som är bättre också. För att, man måste säga, han gör bra beskrivningar att det var inga flyg men han säger aldrig rätt, inga dog. Förstår du? Så att han visar att flygen var falska, för det är uppenbart. Men nu är en tonåring som kan lite video, kan ju liksom analysera det för sig själv och se det. Ett barn kan se att det är falska bilder. Så det gjorde jag i Baker om igen då, så med lite mer sådär special effects, fin production, va? Av hans nu gör reklam för dem. American Psyop heter det.
Ja, men det är bra att titta på allt det här materialet och kanske få bekräftelse av det som vi sitter och säger här. Liksom att vi kan ge er verktyg att titta på de här sakerna med de här glasögonen, så kommer ni se exakt det som vi pratar om här.
Ja, och det tycker jag man kan göra, för att det är ju ett sätt att förstå också hur nätverket jobbar kring det här liksom. Hur gör de? Vad är deras modus operandi?
Ja.
Det här med desinformation är ju en väldigt stor del av deras sätt att jobba då.
Och Anna i Baker, han gjorde ju en viss sak när han blev intervjuad av Untitled i livesändning.
Ja, men det är så gör de här karaktären i Baker, och sen så gör de så att live radiosändning med Jim Spetzer så begår han självmord. Han låtsas då, och sen dagen efter så säger han it was an exercise, artistic exercise, men han gör ju fullständigt bort sig. Så att de kreerar deras karaktärer, och sen så dödar de dem så att de ska se dumma ut, och man ska bara säga släpp det, då var han bara en pajas den här. Då var det flyg då kanske det var flyg, det här är bara en pajas. Så att de ridiculiserade sen deras egna agenter. Men kanske jag ska säga sista saken om Miss Baker, det var ju då att det var han som kontaktade mig först, va? Och så nu ska jag till en konferens i Madison och med Jim Fetzer, kan jag få visa din September Close? Och då kände jag inte honom, jag hade hört om honom, men det tog en kille som bara ville visa. Jag säger, sure, gör det. Så går han då och visar September Close i en sån där Truth Conference med Jim Fetzer, och det finns en video om det också. Jag såg den videon efterpå, och han presenterade September Close ganska bra. Ja. Och sen så går det ett par veckor, och så öppnar han då en webbsajt, och så skriver han jag har tittat bättre på September Close, och 95% false. 95% dålig film, bara kasta bort. Nu ska jag göra en bättre film. Så startar hans karriär. Men varför sa han det? Jag menar, om man var en verklig figur, om man var en ärlig man, hur kan man säga 95%? Eftersom han sen gjorde en film som sa de samma saker. Han var bara en plagiarist. Han bara plagierade, vad gjorde det? Men det, så är det, så går det till. Så gör de. Så det...
Man kan ju tänka sig att de stora multinationella företagen har kanske ett finger med i spelet där, när människor sitter och gör sökningar på Google eller på YouTube, vilka filmer som hänvisas till, ifall man då inte har skrivit in det specifika sökordet September Close, utan bara söker generellt på 9/11. Att liksom det finns många olika vägar att få människor att tro att de får det resultatet som visar den rätta bilden av sanningen, men man kan ju alltid skruva på...
Trots att jag har haft tur, för att jag har trots allt ganska bra liksom, viewership. Så for some reason så har de letat i alla fall. Jag har ju liksom snart 1 miljon views på September Close, den originella. Sen har jag också, konstigt nog, den koreanska versionen har också snart 1 miljon views. Så det är lite grann går det framåt.
Ja.
Sen har vi det 12 språk nu, va? Jag har ju varit jättebra vänner som runt i världen har hjälpt till och översätter i olika språk. Jag har översatt i de språken jag kunde, men sen så har de gjort det i arabiska, ryska, turkiska och koreanska som sagt. Så det September Close har de inte liksom klarat att stoppa. Gud vet varför, va? Men ja, det är kanske det största mysteriet. De kunde ju kanske bara stängt det på något sätt liksom, och sagt för någon. Men de har gjort små sådana saker. På YouTube så stängde de utan grund 2 gånger min sista video, den som var liksom kanske liksom mest intressant, för där satte jag upp alla 5 kanaler, amerikanska kanaler, CNN, CBS, Fox och ABC, på samma gång. Alltså man ser allting, man kan jämföra minut efter minut de första minuterna av den dagen. Så man ser då på den heter Synced Out, den här videon. Den var bara några 12 minuter kanske. Och där ser man ju tydligt att det är samma regi, det är samma production team, som de brukar samma bilder och gör pingpong med varandra. Alltså CNN får Foxes bilder in real time, ser det ut som, och vice versa, och CBS, och de har liksom, det ser ut som en samma. De skulle ju egentligen ha olika kameror, inte sant? De här 5 de största amerikanska TV.
Ja.
TV
som konkurrerar med varandra.
Ja. Hur kan de plötsligt liksom se ut som om de gör det från en samma studio bara, där de bara sitter där och men det så ser det ut alltså. Så den tyckte de inte om, och det kommer liksom dagen efter jag försökte sätta upp det på YouTube, så we have removed it for terms of någonting, violation of terms of something. Så la jag upp den igen, och så kom det en annan typ violation, va? Nu var det kanske material som man inte kunde sätta upp, som om det vore pornografi, va? Så helt obegrundat så bara de släckte den sista videon. Det är liksom bara för att berätta en av de få sakerna som var liksom blatant, det var liksom censur, va? Så jag kunde inte lägga upp den 3:e gången, för att YouTube säger om du lägger upp en 3:e gång så släcker vi din kanal. Ja, om du lägger upp samma video som vi har sagt nej, ajabaja, släcker vi din kanal. Så jag kunde inte lägga upp den. Som tur var så var det andra människor i världen som tog den och la upp den i deras kanal, och de finns där fortfarande, några. Det var flera som la upp den, va? Och fortfarande har någon survived. Synced Out kan man se, men liksom på en liten kanal nu, de har väldigt få views och sånt. Så en liten kanal i Australien, tror jag.
Ja, så att du har inte den på din kanal?
Jag har det inte på min kanal. Nej. Så lite censorship har det varit.
Ja. Men jag tänkte på det, att apropå det här med censorship och så, för att YouTube var ju inte den första videosajten som du la upp den här filmen, September Clubs på.
Nej, där tror jag det var ganska... Där hade jag tur, alltså, det var en bra idé om att säga jag hade. För att jag ville inte lägga mig samman på YouTube. För att YouTube hade jag redan känslan av att det är som Facebook var. Liksom, det är en sån där kontrollerad kanal. Och på den tiden, det var länge sedan, man hade inte någon erfarenhet av internet och så. Men, så
nej, men vilket år var det?
Ja, det var 2007. 2007, juni 2007 så lägger jag upp första September Plus 1.0 lägger jag upp på en plats som heter Live Video, som sen har försvunnit. Det finns inte längre. Det var en sån videoportal som heter Live Video. Och då la jag upp September Clues i sections, i bitar, för att man kunde bara lägga 10 minuter per gång. Man kunde lägga en stor film. Men så jag fick dela upp den i 10 bitar ungefär. Och så A, B, C, D, ja. Så la jag upp den. Och den började gå som susen på live video. Och det var massa kommentarer och för att göra det kort, long story short, så blev September Clues nummer 1. I Italien i alla fall. Nummer 1. Most viewed video in Italy. Ja, där jag lever. Så då jag tror att någon började darra. Plötsligt så stängs hela portalen. Och jag, kort efter att jag hade blivit nummer 1 så stänger de hela live-video. Och då fick jag sätta upp på YouTube. Så det var länge så var en bra stund inte låg på YouTube. September Plus. Ja, min egen nu som jag tror den är 2011. Eller sen så finns det ju många versioner som andra har lagt upp liksom. Men
Och där framgick det då att den videon var den mest visade på live-video då. Och man skulle ju kunna spekulera i att den här videon kanske är mycket mer sedd på YouTube än vad de visar i sin statistik.
Ja, men det kan
vet vi ju faktiskt inte.
Kan man börja spekulera.
Ja.
Jag kan ju hoppas att den är.
Ja, precis.
Fler människor ser det, men jag kan inte klaga liksom. Jag har i alla fall gått runt och det är många människor som skriver mig personligt och sånt. Och, så det är människor som ser den. Men det är klart de försöker att bromsa liksom, att det inte blir sån viral. Viral video som de kallar det. Det har han aldrig varit.
Men nu har det ändå gått ett antal år sedan du slutförde den sista versionen av September Clues. Men sedan dess har du dragit andra slutsatser i alla fall när det gäller vissa partier i den. Vad är det du vill göra om idag?
Ja, vad jag skulle gjort om idag det är några detaljer, men jag hoppas man kan kalla dem detaljer för att jag trodde då när jag gjorde September i 2007-2008 att det möjligtvis de hade brukat en missil istället för ett flyg. Så det var bara, men jag skrev det faktiskt i filmen, det är speculation, jag var inte säker på det, men liksom det var ju för att jag tänkte det var väl kanske någonting som slog in i tonerna. Så då var det är en liten del September Clues som jag pratade om, det kanske var en, och sen var det människor som såg ut som de pratade fort och sa when the missile the plane hit så då blir jag lurad kanske av det och spekulerade att det kunde varit en missil. Men nu tror jag inte de behövde ingenting som slog in i tonerna. De behövde ingen objekt, ingen flygande tefat en gång. Ingen flyg och ingen flygande tefat. Så det var bara over speculation. Sen vad var det andra nu? Nej, det var mest missilen då. Och som var fel. Jo, sen så var det att jag spekulerade att de kanske brukar en vad det heter HERF. HERF, alltså de brukade såna här, de har det, jag menar, i militäret har sådana maskiner som kan deactivate electronic devices. Så att det spekulerar jag för att jag undrade på den tidpunkten varför det inte var så mycket video att finna. Det var inte så mycket privata video att finna. Så för att få så lite människor som möjligt att filma, så kanske de hade den här alltså elektromagnetisk countermeasure som militären kan ha. De brukar det i krigs jag vet att du sänder några strålar till fienden och så kanske deras elektroniska apparater slutar att funka. Så det kan man jag har läst om lite grann. Jag har läst på sådana där tekniska ställen. På den tiden gjorde jag det. Men nu once again, de behöver inte göra det. Nej. Det minsta problemet de hade var någon vittne som skulle komma och knacka på dörren och säga men jag har ju filmat någonting annat. Titta, det är annorlunda än på tv. So what? Och vem ska han gå till och jag menar, hur viktig ska den här människan vara för att någon ska lyssna på dem? Så.
Precis. Och en annan sak jag tänkte på nu när du säger det också, att man skulle faktiskt med fog kunna hävda att 2001, när det inte fanns några smarttelefoner med kameror och så vidare och kanske inte så mycket andra handhållna kameror och sådär, att det finns ju ganska orimligt mycket filmmaterial från 9/11.
Ja, nej, vänta lite. Ja och nej.
Ja, okej.
Det var väldigt lite före 2010. Och väldigt dålig material. Hemskt suddigt. Och sen i 2010 kom det mycket mer ut. Så men jag var satt ju flera år under varför finns det så lite? Det är bara material som på tv-kanalerna. Som för mig var det viktigaste materialet, för det var ju liksom det som det var ju beviset. De har visat detta på tv och det är det som jag skulle snacka om i September Clues. Det var senare de kom ut och det var just då 2010 som den här nya batchen kom ut. Och då var det mycket, mycket klarare bilder. Alltså higher resolution. Och vet du vad de berättade? varför de plötsligt kom ut med den här bilden. Det här är komiskt.
Ja.
Jo, det var för att ABC hade alltså TV:n, ABC, amerikanska TV:n, hade gjort en FOIA Act, alltså Freedom of Information Act emot vad heter det nu?
FBI eller CIA eller?
Nej, det är de som vad heter det nu? Kan vi göra en paus? Ta om det igen.
Jag kan klippa det.
Vad heter det nu? Den tekniska kommissionen som
FEMA, nej, vad fan?
NIST.
Ja.
NIST. Det var, the story went like this. Jo, det gick till så här att ABC TV, amerikanska network, det sades att de hade gjort en Freedom of Information Act, liksom har sagt ajabaja till NIST. De hade gjort mot NIST och sagt, ni har bilder som publiken måste få se. Får de ut från era arkiv här, era lådor. Och så justifierar de att plötsligt kom i 2010 ut en massa nya bilder. Så det skulle varit då NIST som hade gömt de bilderna för deras analyser. Det var ju de som sa, vi har beräknat hur tonerna kom ner i free fall speed, va? NIST, den stora experterna då. Experterna, tekniska experterna. Som bara är en government agency, va? Så då spexade de så här. Så att ABC gjorde liksom lawsuits mot NIST nästan för att få de här bilderna ut. Det var pretexten då för att få visa de här bilderna. Så det är viktigt att förstå. Jag menar, detta har inte jag hittat på. Det stod i tidningarna. Så de justifierade de här nya bilderna.
Det är också en illusion då liksom, att för då får man ju idén kanske att ABC jobbar för befolkningens intresse, som den pressar NIST på material som de inte vill lämna ut. Så att då får man, då ger ju det ABC kredibilitet i människors...
Exakt, ABC va?
De vill krama ut, de vill verkligen ta sanningen.
Folkets advokat va? De går och knackar på regeringen när de gör någonting fel, så ajabaja. Det ska man få som känsla då.
Precis.
Journalister, de går och de ställer frågor, riktiga frågor. Ja. Så det är så.
Ja. Ska vi säga att vi har uttömt, eller det finns givetvis massor mer att diskutera kring det här.
Ja.
Vi kan göra vid ett annat tillfälle. Eller en del två.
Ja.
Men vi får säga att vi avslutar här för den här gången. Så på återseende.
Ja, tack så hemskt mycket. Tack ska du ha, Simon. Och tack alla ni som har lyssnat. Och vi hörs.
Jag tackar väldigt mycket er bägge och de som har lyssnat.
Ja.
Hej.
Tack så mycket.
You're listening to Fakeologist's audio chat. To connect to our always on and always streaming audio chat, go to fakeologist.com/radio3. To participate in the chat, go to fakeologist.com/audio chat. Each day we compress and upload the day's chat, be it big or small. Leave a quick message, do a whole show. All are welcome when it's related to Fakeology. Now, on with today's audio.
It is Tuesday, June 20, in the year of our Lord 2017. Abirato here, the Fakeologist, in the live stream with Folius Hatius. Hello, Folius Hatius.
Hello.
We're all anxious for your report.
You are? Yeah, it was a nice talk with Simon this Sunday. So, and it was nice to meet him and exchange ideas and listen to his discoveries and so on. So, yeah, a lot of questions he got from me and Patrik.
Well, please tell us how it all went down. Tell us from the start to the finish. What happened?
Well, Patrik collected Simon and his girlfriend on the airport at 10 o'clock on Sunday. And then they went home to Patrik and left the bags. And I went to the lecture hall, which is in a school aula, and started to prepare for the talk. So unfortunately, it's summer here now, so it wasn't that many people that came. But we hope we started some interest in Simon's ideas anyhow. And the talk was 3 hours, I think. And it was basic for me and Patrik, but it's news. You have to tell it to newcomers, so you have to tell them on that level. So that Simon did.
So start again. Sorry, my Bluetooth cut out. So you're saying you collected him at the airport, him and his girlfriend. Does he look and sound just like he does in the ether?
Yeah, he does. So, yeah.
So he's not a simulated person in any way.
No, I can assure you that. But yeah, we collected the audio, but Simon isn't sure if he wants us to put it out there. So we will respect his what he thinks about it.
Yeah, you have to do what he would like.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe me and Patrik can do a podcast try to do some kind of podcast in Swedish, just to get the interest. Yeah, and get some interest to the September Clue site and maybe your site as well. Because
you are interested in that?
Yeah, doing a podcast with me and Patrik in Swedish. He could have
that'd be
agreed.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think so too. And then the message could be spread a little bit faster, and maybe you'll get some interest to your site and September Clues from Sweden. That would be beautiful, because you have already done.
Do you think the Swedes are ready for that?
I hope so. I hope so. It's hard to...
You collected them at the airport at 10 p.m. or so, you said?
Yeah. And we prepared in the lecture hall from 12 o'clock, and then we started 1:15.
In the morning?
And no, in the afternoon.
Oh, you picked them up at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and he held a talk for 3 hours with a pause between. And then we went to a restaurant.
Was there any visuals?
Visuals, pictures, you mean?
Video, yeah.
No, we did. He showed us pictures and GIF animated files during his talk. But we only seen the slides.
Or?
Yeah. Yes.
With the
but you already know the material, I think. So.
Right. No, I am familiar with it. How was the crowd?
It was, I think, 30 people or 35.
Were they already? They were people in your group, right?
Yeah, people in my group, and then we have some reoccurring customers that comes for most of our talks. But now it's summer here in Sweden, so it's hard to gather people inside a building for a talk when it's hot outside. It gathers more people during winter time, those events.
Well, of course, it's nice in the northern climes here as we celebrate the summer solstice coming up.
Yeah.
Which is tomorrow, I think, at 12 or 11.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a magic number.
Yeah. So, and then after the talk we had dinner at the nearby restaurant, and they invited also the guests who wanted to come and have dinner with us. And then me and Patrik, I joined with Patrik and Simon and his girlfriend to Patrik's place, and took the evening there. And then I also slept over to the morning, and he went by the airplane 3 in the afternoon. So we talked all morning as well. So it was very nice, and we got the invitation to Rome. So maybe we will go there during September 11th this year.
Wow. A celebration.
Yeah. Yeah, last year we had a guy who talked on September 11th, the 15th anniversary. So it was very nice.
Oh, that's fantastic. So are you allowed to tell us what Simon said, or was there anything exciting or different, or?
No, I think you already know most of it.
How was the presentation? Was it dynamic? Were there questions? How did the audience receive his message?
I think it's hard to sink in, because many questions he had already answered during his lecture. So people are still I think they have to get some time to melt the information. I think all the information was good, but maybe it could be a little bit more structured talk. But Simon also says that that's not his strongest abilities. But
well, he was speaking all Swedish, or
Swedish.
When you Swedes talk, do you speak in some English too? You mix it a bit, or is it just pure Swedish all the time?
Yeah, pure Swedish, but sometimes he put in some English words when he couldn't find the Swedish word. But he's very, very good in Swedish, I can show you. So
that's what I was going to ask next. So he's very fluent in Swede.
Yeah. So that's why it would. Me and Patrik thought it would be good to try to. Maybe we can structure some kind of podcast and ask him some questions, and then put it out in Swedish and see what the interest will be. And maybe we can get some listening people during our website with the Cubono that we already have.
How many people are in Sweden again?
10 million now, I think.
How many are native born, and how many are recent immigrants, or?
Maybe 7 million native and 3 million immigrants, or maybe more, because when you go in the city, it's you feel like a minority now as a Swede.
Yeah, well, Swedish people are not reproducing themselves, right? At all.
No. They're falling for the propaganda in TV. So,
well, I just listened to a guy named Pockets of the Future on YouTube, and he was saying that the people that promote feminism, or the feminization of men, or just the so-called quote-unquote equality of women, they actually hate women, because they're trying to tell women that they shouldn't be women. They should just be equal to men, which of course requires them to be more men-like in a way. Obviously, the biggest part of a woman's life is reproducing, and the most important job, and they're trying to tell women that that's not that important. Well, even if they don't say it's not important, you don't have a lot of time if you're doing everything a man's doing to nurture and create children, I think.
Yeah, exactly. You got it on the spot there.
So they're basically feminists, or people that promote feminism, are actually the inversion. They're anti-women. They're against the motherly female ideal. So it's once more we have inversion.
Exactly.
I just thought that he put that perfectly. Because it's just not something you think about. You think, oh, women should just be like men, which of course everyone should be treated fairly and in the same way. But on the other hand, women give life, men can only take it away.
Yeah, exactly. And what shall attract the genders if you're all alike? You're attracted by that a woman differs from you and is feminine and like that. But if she acts and behaves like a man, what's there to attract?
Right. But anyway, we're getting off track. I was just trying to get a feel for Sweden. So Sweden's similar to the size of where the province that I live in here. So it's pretty small. So did you do any advertising for Simon and September Clues? Did you get any new people in? Did you get any hecklers? Anyone that was opposed to what he was saying? Are you guys all, is it the normal crowd that's very open-minded?
Yeah, the normal crowd, I think, was there. And but it's new information from for most of them. I think they're all in some of the traps laid out about 9/11. They don't believe the official version, of course, but they fall for the agents, the versions of those. So I hope maybe we push them a step in the right direction, and maybe we'll get the ball rolling. I hope so.
Very good. So these people they're conspiracy people, but they're not familiar with September Clues or Clues Forum way of thinking.
No, exactly.
So it's almost a conspiracy deeper than their normal conspiracy talk. It's another level. It's another level that they just don't know.
Yes, exactly. And I think it would be good to lead them there, and maybe they can, when they are convinced, like I am, they can convince other people. And some of the guests this Sunday were previous talkers at Kibono, so and some write on their own website and so on. So they have an audience of their own. So if you can affect someone that already have an audience, it's giving a much better effect.
9/11, of course, was mainly for North America, but America first. What is the biggest? Is there much awareness of 9/11 in Sweden?
No, I wouldn't say so.
So therefore, is it really that significant to Swedes?
No, most of them doesn't care, but it's a lot of terror attacks now, so they watch television and believe what they see.
Well, let me ask, okay, are the Swedes in general, or the Key Bono group that you're in general, are they familiar with the different components of 9/11? World Trade, Pentagon, Shanksville. Those are the three legs of 9/11, I think. I don't think I missed anything. Those are the three major components, a triad.
Yeah, in Kibono they know about the three events.
9/11?
Yeah, they know.
They are?
But I don't know about the Swedes in general.
Damn Bluetooth.
All right. So they are aware of the three components?
Yeah, in Kibono they are, but most of them talk about the event in New York, I think.
Right, New York. Okay. Now,
and,
what is
and,
the most...
so most of them...
When Simon is talking about the various elements of media fakery, are they surprised or familiar with what he has to say about New York and the media being complicit 100%?
Yeah, I've prepared them a bit about it, so they have heard me talking about it, but I thought that maybe they will get it when they can hear Simon, and maybe then they go into his website and find out for themselves or so. I don't know. I think most of us are we're getting so much information from everywhere, so you have to pick your sources, and they are just watching every source still, and then your thoughts are not very clear, I think.
Okay.
So,
what is the biggest Psyop in Sweden?
I think I don't know if Estonia was a Psyop.
Estonia.
Yeah, the big ferry ship.
That was in Sweden?
Yes, a big ferry liner that sunk in 1994.
So that was the last big major media event?
No, we have a bigger, the murder of Olof Palme, but that was in 1986.
Yes, that's what I thought you would say. That, in my mind, is the biggest one. And it's pretty damn small compared to anything going on today in the world.
But we had some smaller psyops, I think. In 2010, the first suicide bomber. And then now this year, Stockholm truck attack. And then we had also one in Trollhättan. A guy that should have murdered people with a sword, like a Star Wars, like in a Star Wars movie.
Okay. So. All right. So really, because Sweden is pretty small, you guys really don't get any significant, super big events.
No, I don't think so.
No. Because in my mind, what is there a large youth component to the Swedish population? Is it more an aging population or a young population? And how does it break down between native-born Swedes and recent immigrant Swedes?
It's more ethnic Swedes are elderly. Most young people, it's immigrant and immigrant children, I think. So
your young people are recent immigrants.
Yeah.
And your elders are native-born Swedes. Therefore, the news, the media, the mainstream broadcast media, newspapers and broadcast TV, that's aimed at the senior Swedes. So they're consuming the old stream media. They would be aware of 9/11, whereas the whole generation of younger Swedes, which are the recent immigrants, they're going to be on their phones like everyone else under 30 in the whole wide world. So they're not even looking at the old media. They don't even know the language associated with the mainstream or lamestream media that 9/11 was broadcast on and the audience that 9/11 was broadcast to.
But we have a school system that teaches children that they don't can trust alternative media and so on. So they only can trust state media, and they have to check the sources, and if it's not an authority or institute or so, it's not to be trusted.
Right. But again, I always think these psyops, they're not even looked at by the youth unless they can involve an entertainer. If they're not involving an entertainer, then nobody under 30 is going to look.
No, we see and we see that in our audience, it's mostly elderly people that are coming.
Yes.
That have seen
What's the youngest person? I think you're the youngest person in your group, aren't you?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
And you're in your 30s? You sound like you're older, but you're in your 30s?
37.
You're one of the younger ones. So what are some of the other ages that you know?
Yeah, 50, around 50, I think.
Mm-hmm.
40 and 50. So, and also the audience are mostly in that age, 50 or between 50 and 60. And they have a long life, so they have seen the transformation of what Sweden was before and what it is like now. And younger people, they haven't seen Sweden as it was before, so they have nothing to compare to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because with I think this is how I think it goes. I think they don't mind that the current middle-aged and older people are aware of these psyops because we're not the majority. And the majority, they write the books, they create the narrative, they create the history. So any opposition will just be a footnote and it will be controlled. But the real opposition of every generation disappears and is never even known of. So the next generation just reads the official story and that's the end of it. But I think there's opposition in every generation, but it does not get recorded.
Exactly.
The cui bono. So even if the people thought there was, say, a flat earth back when the round earth was pushed hard by the Vatican and Copernicus, I don't think the opposition was recorded too much and then they just disappear. So I think 9/11 opposition will be the same way. It doesn't even matter that there was, of course people take for granted there's an opposition, but it doesn't get recorded. So in history, it doesn't exist.
No, exactly. So, you have to get a power change for that to happen. And I don't know if we can replace the big bankers and so on that's running the game.
I think the Pope just recently, I thought you said Big Bang. I think the Pope just recently said the Big Bang is quite possible or it's okay as a theory. So the Jesuit Pope has inverted thousands of years of, or at least hundreds of years of religion and doctrine and teachings. And that's how it works. The Fabian model of change, just bit by bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What other highlights can you point out from the presentation of 3 hours? Were there many questions? Were there any dissenters?
Dissenters? What is that?
Oh, pardon me. People that speak up in opposition, that oppose or say we don't agree with this or it doesn't make sense, that kind of thing?
No, many of them just laughed and...
they laughed?
Yeah, no, they laughed.
Well, they laughed?
Yeah.
Laughed.
And about that they had been fooled. Maybe they got something from Simon's presentation that made sense in their mind, and they laughed that they had been fooled in such a way before. I think it was that kind of laugh.
Oh, they laughed that they could have believed it?
Yeah, what they believed before, I think. And it was many curious questions, but it was clear that they hadn't melted the theme of the presentation, that 9/11 was all a movie, but because they still asked about the planes and so but he had explained that there were no planes. So, yeah.
Okay. Were there any good questions that were asked?
Yeah. One woman asked how there could be no dead because people worked there, and they didn't thought it would be possible to that the buildings were all emptied out before they were. Was that what Simon presented? Because that's not necessarily in September Clues that I can recall. He doesn't really get into the state of the building. So Simon is saying that the buildings were empty? Yeah, that there were no victims.
Okay.
I showed the victim report.
Yeah. Oh, he brought up the victim report?
Yes.
What was the reaction to that?
Yeah, people were stunned. It's not many in Kibono that there were no one that were killed. We have Ole Dammegård here a few times, and he says that 3,000 people were killed, and so it's not many other people than Simon that says that. They were simulated.
What do you think? Is Ole Dammegård Swedish or Danish?
I think he's Swedish, but he lives in Spain.
He's probably your leading Swedish truther. Would you agree?
Yes.
What do you guys think of Ole Dammegård? Do you think he's being a true researcher or he's gatekeeping?
No, I think he's a true researcher, but yeah.
Can you be a true researcher if you don't research the victims?
Maybe he has no time for it because he's all in for it when there's a new event. So,
but how can you have no time for the most central part of the deception? Doesn't that seem odd to you?
Maybe a little.
Isn't it like digging for fossils and not caring about the bone, where it came from?
Yeah, but maybe just the thought has not appeared in his mind, like the audience in Kibono, that they asked a question that had already been answered because they couldn't set their mind in.
But I'm talking about serious researchers, not casual listeners of conspiracy.
Yeah.
If you do research all day long for a living, don't you think you should know and dig into the root evil of the whole deception? It is the root. If nobody dies, does anyone care if a building gets knocked down? Does it really matter?
No.
Buildings are knocked down all the time. If they're empty, nobody thinks about them.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't matter how they're knocked down. If they're knocked down with a wrecking ball or floor by floor, or if we crash some kind of automated vehicle into them, if nobody dies, no one's going to remember. So therefore, the central part of all psyops are the deaths. So I'm just trying to understand how anyone can take someone seriously who doesn't look at the core aspect of the deception. And you're making an excuse that, he probably doesn't have time. What else does he have but time? The research is over pretty much if you expose the central lie.
Yeah, but maybe also he has living. He makes a lot of talks and he has his website and go to John F. K. assassination conference, and he has got a lot of connections. And it's like if you have friends, I don't know, if you go in an area you're not supposed to when you're
well, that is gatekeeping. That's gatekeeping, don't you think?
Yeah, well, maybe it's just a social thing that because during my search for truth, I have lost a lot of friends and connections. And if you have built up a platform, and if you go into a theory that you know that you will lose, that platform that you have built up during all those years, maybe you're satisfied that you're doing something good and helping people to the level that you are at, and then it's up to them to find the next step. During my travel for truth, I've gone through a lot of gatekeeping agents, but I haven't. So it was actually Christopher Bolin that arose my interest for 9/11. So without the gatekeepers, maybe I wouldn't have been here.
Oh, I agree. I agree that I'm not going to blame the people, the audience. I'm going to blame the presenters. The gatekeepers are not really helping. They're not really helping at all. They're just treating the victim, but they're not curing the victim. And that's you. and anyone who believes them. Don't you want to be cured?
Yeah, I want to know the truth.
So all these people just want to stay ill and just receive treatment. They don't want to be cured.
No, I think the truth is too hard sometimes, and especially if you have lived a long life and you know that everything you have done is
for nothing.
It's wrong, yeah, for nothing or wrong. I think
it's not for nothing. That's the wrong way to say it. It's not for nothing. It's just it was for a
wrong reason.
Really, well, it's for a system that's way more corrupt than you could have ever imagined.
Yeah.
Let's look in the chat and see what the chat is saying. Can you look in the live stream chat?
Live stream chat.
Oh, Typoair is listening as always. He put a link to your site, Kibono.
Yeah, I saw that.
Is that the right link?
Föreningen Kibono, I'll watch. Yeah, it is.
All right, very good.
Yeah,
was 3 hours enough to discuss the whole? How much was? Let's ask this. Let's start. Was 3 hours enough time, or did you run out of time?
I think it was enough.
Did everybody stay to the end?
Not everybody. It was very sunny outside, so a few people left in the pause. But I think they got the message before the pause was.
Were there copies of September Clues available?
No, but we referred to the homepage, and also in the invitation, we advised people to study September Clues before the talk, so that they could come prepared with the questions.
What were some other questions?
Most were similar about the planes and the smoke.
The victims?
Yeah.
Did Simon explain how he thinks the towers were destroyed?
Yeah, behind the smoke screen, yes. And he also explained why.
Did he speak of missiles?
No.
Okay. Because those are some of the older ideas from September Clues.
Yeah, but he haven't got the time to erase or make a new version of September Clues.
Mm-hmm.
He's much up to his work about the solar system, so that's consuming all the time.
Did that come up?
No, not at the talk, but we talked with Simon about that. Me and Patrik, and very curious about his work.
What did you guys have for dinner?
Yeah, we had some pork and potatoes. At least I had.
I was just going to make a joke about Swedish meatballs, but that's probably just a stereotype.
Yeah. Yeah. So, can you tell me about how to best make an audio and make it spread? Like, should
You're listening to another hour of Fakeologist audio chat on fakeologist.com.
Well, you could certainly record it here
on Discord
if you would like. Of course, you could use Discord. You could use my Discord or the audio chat if you wanted. You could do it on Skype and just record in Skype. Skype has a recording program you can buy. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and then when you put it out, is it enough to do it on YouTube, or should you do it on SoundCloud, and do you have to pay?
Oh, I'd put it on YouTube. Put it on YouTube if you can. Yeah, I just try and YouTube would be fine.
Yeah, but I haven't found a way to download YouTube sound files to my phone yet. So therefore I don't listen very much. I only listen to files that I can download with the podcast edit.
If you create it on YouTube or on Skype, you're going to get a sound file anyway. Just use that sound file. You have to add the sound file to a YouTube video anyway, so you've already got it. You've already got the sound file.
Yeah, but if you want to have many listeners, maybe you should upload it as a in SoundCloud as well, or is it too much work to do that?
No, it's not too much work. No. I don't usually do anything on SoundCloud, so I can't really speak much about it.
I think I got your RSS feed for the Fakeologist shows, but it only shows the latest 60 or 70 shows, not older than that.
Well, that's more of a function of, you can probably listen to every show if you synchronize your podcast program with Feedly, FEEDLY.com.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that allows you to synchronize with all the sound audio files. Otherwise, just go to Fakeologist, just type into Google Fakeologist Radio Archives.
Yeah, I have downloaded them to my computer so I can
Smart.
Take them over that way. But it's in rare cases I put effort to download new podcasts like that. If you want to find out something new, you want it to function very easy, just to give it a chance.
Well, it's the age-old problem of distribution. How do you get publicity? And that's the main issue. YouTube, I would say YouTube suggestions are probably one of the most common ways for people to discover new material.
Yeah, I think so too. Or Facebook, maybe.
Or Facebook. Or word of mouth.
Yeah. But it's very tragic.
Everyone that creates media has the same problem. How do you get heard? It's not just conspiracy types or truthers.
No, exactly.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
I can't remember right now.
Oh, apologies.
So are you at work now? I heard some truck noises before.
No,
but no.
I'm just driving.
You're just driving. Okay, you're in your car on your way home, or?
Yeah, you want to come meet me? Yeah, my day is long, but sometimes I have shorter days, which is good. Go home and stare at the sky.
Yeah. So, but you drive long ways with your truck, so you can listen to a lot of audio.
Well, sometimes I do. It just depends.
Yeah.
Just depends. Sometimes I get tired of listening to audio. I listen to music. There's just, you know what it's like. You can only do so much.
Yeah.
It is the human attention span is sometimes limited. We can only retain or absorb so much before we burn out.
Yeah, and if you want to create something of your own, you have to cut down on what you're taking in.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You can't do both.
Yeah, and last years I've mostly taken in stuff. So if you should put effort to create something, you must, then you have to cut something out.
Well, there's so many more creators now that you just like to listen to new people. That's the way I like to do it. I like new people. We've heard everything that the old people have to say. Even I don't really have anything new to say. I can't be that interesting to the average person. And I don't understand the people that make a living doing this because there's not that much interesting to say. You can comment on the narrative, or we call it the news of the day, but if that's all fiction, then you're just talking about the latest story that's been created. That's really the whole point of what we talk about.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
They create the narrative that we talk about, and we're just talking about stories, and most of them are hoaxes.
Exactly. And you want to meet people that have understood that, because then you can have a good relation with those people. I think it's very hard to be with people that even
a lot of people, regular people, don't even follow the media. They really don't. Most people don't follow it too closely. They don't know anything about history, most people. They don't even know anything about current events much. So they're not going to know or care if they're hoaxes anyway. They're just going to brush it off as, well, today's narrative is they just call it fake news because Trump told them to say that. But it doesn't even matter to them that it's fake.
Yeah, I can hear a lot of repetition and the ideas that have been put in their minds from the propaganda.
Right.
So it's not many thoughts of their own I can hear. But it's good now when I have Patrik, and we are at the same level now. And he confessed that he now thinks that satellites does not exist. So he's on board with that now.
Well, he had to convince himself. There's nothing you can say to convince someone.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it was when I first met him taking a coffee and explained him about September clues. He also about, oh no, that's not true. And then he went home and looked at it.
Think of how they did it in history, if we're to believe it's true, which I believe it is. If one religion came into a country to conquer another, the people could freely convert. I think a lot of the times they let people convert. I think a lot of Jews, when they found out that being a Jew wasn't a good idea, they converted. And for the most part, they probably got away with it. But even in olden times, if people did not convert or choose to believe, if they were so steadfast in their ways, then the only thing you can do, and the only thing that was done with non-believers, is they were killed. Now, I don't think truthers need to kill people because they don't believe in our way of looking at things. But humans have not changed over time. Non-believers will never switch their beliefs. And since we're not going to kill them, we're just going to have to allow them to keep their old beliefs, because the human mind will never change. And the only way a mind will change is if it's willing or ready to change. And the older people get, the less they'll change. And they'll be willing to die with their beliefs. And that fact of human psychology will never change. End of rant.
Yeah, you might be right. But it's so frustrating to be so alone here with this knowledge, and you want to spread it to tell everyone you meet, but they don't want to hear about it.
But you have to really go back to the basis of beliefs, which are religions. And how do you think the missionaries were or are even to this day when they're trying to convert someone to their beliefs? It's very hard. People need a traumatic event to switch them. And again, if you're conquering a country and the natives are not converting, they get killed. That's how it's always been done. That's the only way you can get rid of the non-believers, because you can't change their minds. You have to kill them. So you cannot ignore hundreds or thousands of years of history, because that is the way it is today still. Nothing has changed. So stop being worried about trying to change people's beliefs, because you're never going to do it. And that's why you just have to be satisfied with knowing yourself. And if anyone wants to know, just let them know where you're at, and you can, unless you're prepared to go door to door like the Jehovah's Witnesses, and they are mandated to go out every Friday or once a week to spread the word. And I guarantee you they get 99 out of 100 doors slammed in their face. But they have to do it. Now, none of them would do it if they didn't have to do it, but it's part of their religion. Now, I am not that interested in any kind of religion, and I am not going to go to that extreme to spread my ideas, because it's not that important in my mind to spread. I'm not willing to, or should I say, it's not important enough in my life to create that kind of sacrifice. I am not prepared to sacrifice any of that for my beliefs. Are you?
I don't know. I try to do as much as I can with as low risk as possible, and try to enjoy life anyhow, as good as I can.
I think you hosting Simon was more than 1,000 other people would do. Fantastic job.
Yeah.
So you are proselytizing in a very active way, and I think it's fantastic. You did a really great job. I think you should be commended, but just be aware that most people would never do that, and B, most people don't believe it. But you are to be commended for your work and your effort. Did you at least break even on the renting the hall, or?
Yeah, we gave him.
Cover your costs?
It was not so many people that came, but we gave him a little bit more than we got in. So.
Well, that was good because the ticket. I guess airfare in Europe isn't too bad.
No, with the Ryanair, it's not that much. But I think at least we covered his plane ticket. But and then he and his girlfriend stayed at Patrik for free and got food and drinks and so. So I hope. And then they also got one T-shirt with the George Orwell theme that we have printed for Föreningen Kubono. So I hope he enjoyed that T-shirt.
Oh, that's really great. What a good thing he did. That's really good. That's really well done.
Yeah. So
maybe... Who's your next guest in Cui Bono? And who was the guest before?
We had underground talks with a guy called Yuri Lina. You know him? He's a little bit international. He's researching about Freemasonry.
Okay.
So, and he was grown up in Estonia in the during communist time. And then he moved to Sweden, and he found out that Sweden is just a softer type of communism. It's the same thing. And he's going around doing talks about that, and he gets banned from a Swedish system to do his talks, and then we have to arrange some underground talks for him.
He's banned? It's that controversial to talk about Sweden being a communistic, socialistic system?
Yeah.
Wow.
Most of the journalists are lefties or communists.
Okay. And who's your next guest?
We don't know yet. We're taking a summer break. It's not so... you can gather so many people during vacation, I think. So we will start off in autumn again. And we'll think about...
Well, if you did this in autumn, would you have gotten a bigger crowd?
Yeah, I think so. Like in November or so, it's very cold and dark, and people want to be inside. Then it attracts more people. But now, lately, we have some trouble with renting venues.
Why?
Yeah, we get. Have you seen the video when me and Patrik stand on the stairs?
No.
No, we got the.
Put the link to it. Do you have a link?
Yeah.
What did you get expelled for? What did you do?
They tell that we not stand for the all people's equal value, and they say it as an excuse.
What was the exact circumstance? What happened?
Yeah, we should have a talk with old, not Freemason, but he was a member of an order of some kind, and he should tell about his experiences.
Do you have a copy of the video?
Yeah, here it is. I put it in the live stream chat.
Okay, I see it.
So it's me to the left and Patrik to the right.
Okay, so you were saying, I can't read that right now, but what does it say?
It says that we should rent the Folkets hus. It's the house of the people. But we that are a part of the people are not allowed to rent the house of the people. So it's very contradictory.
So you were kicked out, you paid your rent, you paid the fee, but they kicked you out.
No, we booked it, and then they tried to say that we couldn't rent it with a very short notice. So we tried to get in anyway, but it failed. So we had to go to a nearby restaurant and hold the talk instead. But what we wanted to make a manifestation outside before and put it on YouTube to show how we are being treated.
And when was this?
In January this year.
Wow. I'll have to watch that.
Yeah.
Well, you're a brave man. I'll give you credit.
Thank you. I try to. So, yeah, I think it's a good job.
Why did you get, how did you get doing this kind of thing? I know you probably told me, but just tell the audience again.
It started that I thought it was too much immigration. If you as the Swede will have a job, the state will pay an immigrant's job for him to get the job instead of you, and then the state are collecting a lot of tax money. So all working people are paying tax, and then the state uses it to employ immigrants instead. So you're getting discriminated in your own country. So that I got annoyed about that, and we're involved in a political party called Sverigedemokraterna, and they're like a populist party. So it took me 3 years or something to realize that maybe politics is not making any difference, because it's corrupting people. And I saw how the people in my environment were getting corrupted, and they saw the money involved in high positions, and they could backstab each other, and like that.
What was Olof Palme for? Was he for this system or against it?
He was one of the creators.
He created the system.
Yeah, I think Roland Huntford wrote a big, great book in the 70s called New Totalitarians. And a few Swedes know about it, and I got to know about it during this spring, and bought it from the UK and read it, and it's spot on about how to create a socialistic system where the people is all dependent on the state, and how the state are moving their positions ahead to get more power, and the people will be more dependent on the state. So that has been the trend ever since.
Okay, so he was the one that created the Swedish socialist state.
And he put in a decision in the parliament that we should have immigration in the 1975, I think it was. And by then it was almost 100% ethnic Swedes in Sweden. So it's a very fast journey from 1975 until now, 40 years later. I don't know if half of people living here are Swedes anymore. And we're not reproducing. So if the trend goes on like this, yeah, we're not going to exist anymore. Near future.
Not like they are, yeah.
No.
Well, all of Europe will transform. It'll be a quiet. That's the real revolution going on in Europe.
Yeah. And that's why. Yeah, and that's why I listen to a lot of your shows, and you say that it's nothing to be scared about, and so. But I don't agree with that. I see what they do with this Psyops and so. And they are making people not see the reality outside them, and that the whole world of getting destroyed in front of their eyes. But they don't see it, they only believe what they see on the television.
Right. Well, I think the whole world is just changing. And it's a global, worldwide, if you like, phenomena. It's happening in every Western country, and the second world countries like China are just being pumped up so they can get off the countryside and into the dependent cities and become part of the monoculture. That's all that's happening.
Yeah, but if the trends are going on like this, it's not going to be a very nice world to live in. And
well, it'll be a technocracy run out of the central power structure, wherever that might be.
Yeah, but you will be like a cattle. You have a sheep operated in your arm, and you have to work.
Well, you already are cattle. It's just that they're trying to breed out all the differences and make one type of cattle. That's the only thing that people might really be opposed to. They don't want to be part of this monoculture, this mono religion. Mono means one. And that's what's happening. So, well, I really appreciate getting the update from you. It was great. Typo error was the one that reminded me of this date. I'm glad he did so, and we all wanted to hear about Simon. Simon doesn't come on here much, if at all, anymore, so I don't think he's not on the new server. Everyone is, of course, willing or able to join the Fakeologist Discord server, which has really taken off and become more of a platform because it's so easy to use than even the Fakeologist.com website. I'll just remind people that there are 2 different logins, so if you want to make comments on the Fakeologist site, then you have to log in. You have to log into it and just send me an email saying who you are and give me your Discord name, which is most likely a different name, or it could be almost the same, and I'll activate both of them so you can easily chat. That's the whole point of it. So then we do stream live at fakeologist.com/radio3. You can stay connected 24 hours and broadcast there. But if you ever want Folius if you don't have it set up, just tell Simon to log into the audio chat, and you guys can do a quick show there. You're welcome to, and I'll certainly send you the audio. But if you can't get your settings going perfectly.
Yeah, maybe we'll try Skype so we have it on our own computer. But I heard that Skype are a little bit shaky. It doesn't work sometimes. Maybe you have some experience of that.
I don't have any real problems with Skype other than the fact that Microsoft controls it. But no, I haven't had any real problems with it. But when I'm doing a show, I can't mute other people with Skype. So Skype has its own limitations. And it's not a great hosting software, let's put it that way. But if you have mutually respectful people on the Skype, then you can just talk to people and say, can you hold on a sec if you're talking to them, that kind of thing. But, yeah, you could do it on Skype. It's just, you can download Skype Recorder, and that does a pretty good job of recording conversations.
Yeah, maybe we try. I'm not that fond of a new technical solution as you are. When I find something that works, I stick with it, and I think most people are like that. But
everyone's like that.
Yeah, but the system needs people to want new things. So it's a lot of psychologists that try to...
They make new things for new people. The new people are the ones that want these things.
Yeah.
And they're really... All these things are for the new generation, not for the old generation. That's how it is. That's why generations have trouble communicating if they don't live together. Because their programming is different. It's like going to a restaurant and ordering food that you never saw before. It's not meant for you. It's meant for the new group.
Yeah. It's hard to find a restaurant here that offers Swedish
meatballs.
Yeah, Swedish food. It's Indian, it's Chinese.
Well, what is? Well, I love Indian food. Indian food is pretty good as long as it's not deep fried. But I don't have a problem. What is Swedish food, by the way?
Yeah, it's meatballs, like you said. And,
it is meatballs. I can't eat meatballs. I'm allergic to the binding in it.
Oh, that's too bad.
It is, because they're always on special at IKEA over here, and they use their food as a lost leader to get people in the store, but I can't eat most of it.
That's too bad.
So you can't find a good meatball in Sweden?
Yeah, you can, of course. But it's not very common.
All right. Well, that's too bad. Hopefully, maybe one day that'll change, but I doubt it.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
All right, I guess you have to work tomorrow?
Yeah. I will go to
jump in the Volvo and start hauling stuff around tomorrow?
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Well, thank you very much for the update. It was most appreciated. We're all big fans of Simon.
Yeah?
And Clues for him. Oh, yeah. It's too bad it wasn't in English, because it would have been great to hear him talk, but even if he does put it out, I won't understand a word of it, so it doesn't really matter.
No.
What he said. It doesn't really matter to me if you get it out. But
no, but I think it's a good idea to do it in Swedish because
sure.
There is no one like him in Sweden getting these ideas about. And when you finally get Simon's message, you're not going back. You're not going in the traps set out for you anymore. So
well, good. Well, maybe Patrik will come join you. Come into the audio chat with Patrik anytime and do a discussion in English about what you talked about, maybe a little more, because I'm sure when you two interact and chat together, we can hear a little more detail if there's anything we missed in our little chat.
Yeah, maybe.
Is Patrik on the Fakeologist Discord server?
I told him that you had changed to Discord, but I haven't seen him created any account yet.
Yeah, I know I got you to do a bumper, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I don't remember Patrik doing one, so that probably means he hasn't been here.
No, I don't think so. But I talked to him and said that you miss him and you want him to come on.
Yeah, and I want him to come on with you, and you just discuss the Simon meetup while it's fresh in your mind.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't know if it's so much more information than what I told you now.
Well, probably not. But you never know. It's worth a try.
Yeah.
And he can come in and do a bumper as well.
Yeah.
But make sure he says where he's from. That's the new part of the bumper.
Yeah, okay.
We're always improving and upgrading and updating.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, fantastic. Thank you very much, Folius Hadius, of, I believe you're in Gothenburg, Sweden?
Yes, that's correct. So...
And my favorite character on the Muppets was the Swedish chef, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Well, take care.
Okay. Yeah, you too.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
And the peace sign from typo error.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to Fakeologist's audio chat. To connect to our always on and always streaming audio chat, go to fakeologist.com/radio3. To participate in the chat, go to fakeologist.com/audio chat. Each day we compress and upload the day's chat, be it big or small. Leave a quick message, do a whole show. All are welcome when it's related to Fakeology. Now, on with today's audio. It's June 27th, 2017. I'm in the live stream with Folius Hadius and Patrik. Patrik's both from Sweden. We need theme music for you guys.
There. Hello? Yeah.
Hold on. We need theme music for you guys. Here, let's try this.
Yeah, sure.
Here's your theme music. Oh, come on, this stupid thing. Too much intro.
Oh, the Muppets. Yeah.
Gonna sing a song for you. Are you ready to boogie new? We got something to do you. Hooty.
That's no good. That's not his theme song. Where is it?
No, that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I just want to play his theme song for one second.
Good morning. Lekker Fakeologist.
All right. That wasn't as good as I thought. But anyway, how are you guys doing today?
Yeah, we're fine, thank you.
Let's hear a little bit more about the whole Simon Shack thing from you, Patrik. We heard from Folius. Let's hear a bit from you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. As you know, I've been aware of the fakeologist side of things for a while now, but I had to ease into it, but been very interested, and I joined this club we have here in Gothenburg called Q Bono. That Martin is the driving force behind, and he had tried to invite Simon Shack before an answer. It was probably something with the email, but then since I've been active on Clues Forum and such, I sent him a mail and asked if he would like to come, and he said, yeah, of course, sure. And then we agreed on a date, and is it 1 week ago now, Martin?
Yeah, 18th of June we had Simon here.
Yeah. So and as we have this where people with offbeat things present this Cubono organization, and we had Simon here, and he we picked him up at the airport and went home to my house and had some brunch, and we went to the hall in Gothenburg, and he held I think it was about 3 things, and he went through the September clues, the things. He didn't show the movie, but he showed GIFs and images and explained how cannot be real, and then he talked about some more about the Vixim report and how it's extremely unlikely that any one of these so-called victims are real persons. And I think it was well received. I think they have a hard time understanding this. I think it's a psychological thing that it's because we have all these other design conspiracies, as I like to call them, around this event, and then it's the official version. Of course, it was absurd or funny because when Simon had talked about 3 hours about this, a guy in the back held up his hand and asked the question, but what do you think about the planes that hit the building? So it was obvious he didn't really get the main thing that Simon wanted to get through.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he did a very good presentation, and he did it in Swedish, and we would like to me and Martin we are working on trying to get some kind of podcast going in Swedish and try to raise awareness of these issues here in Sweden, and so because I also think it's, if we raise awareness and talk about it in Sweden, everyone knows English pretty good here. So if they just get aware of this this track, so to speak, they will be able to look at September clues and other things and understand it, so to speak.
Very good, very good. And was his talk effective in your mind? Do you think he flipped over many people to his way of thinking? That's what it's all about, of course. Yeah, I hope so. But I don't have. It's difficult because I have friends and colleagues that they know that 9/11 didn't happen as the official version, but they are still into some kind of other conspiracy. You know, it's take your pick, Christopher Bolin or whatever. And when you try to discuss this with them, that the whole thing, it's very, I think the most, or you try to explain that if you look at it logically and look at the movies or the imagery from it cannot be real. But they can't go there. They don't buy it, and they don't understand this extra hoax, or so to speak. So it's hard.
That's why they need some repetition of Simon Scheck's message. It's all about repetition in the propaganda world.
Yeah, that's true. Folius was the one who made me aware of September clues, because I had been looking at all these other theories for a couple of months, and then he talked about this. Yeah, it was just a movie, and there was smoke screen. That sounds really crazy, but since as well, and then I went home and watched September clues, and then I really soon realized that this is the vision of the event. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now I've been talking about this with my friends for 1.5 or almost 2 years now, and I think Patrik is the only one that's wholly aboard with me now, even with the satellite thing, which he can confess to you later. So it's very hard to convince people of this way of viewing the world. But you need to keep repeat it, and if we get a core of people who understands the magnificent work of Simon Scheck, and maybe we can get some kind of ball rolling. And if me and Patrik can get some kind of podcast up and running, that would be great, I think, because at least I am of that kind that I like to listen to things more than to read it. And if you can find, if me and Patrik can talk about it in a sensible manner, maybe people start to listen, and the word will spread.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.
You remember me, right, Abirato, when I was a couple of months ago and talked about satellites, and I was so convinced, that they have to exist, and rocket has to work in a vacuum, but we didn't really talk about that. We talked about satellites. And
how's your journey on satellites going now? Because boy, almost every podcast I listen to about fakery gets into the satellites, and the latest hoaxbusterscall.com was a really good call, and they were talking about satellites, and the Sputnik was literally the size of a beach ball with a this is the story. The official story of the Sputnik is it was the size of a beach ball with a radio transmitter in it, and it was 22,000 miles away, and people said they saw it, which of course is ludicrous. If it was 22 miles away, you wouldn't probably be able to see it. So it's just amazing the stories that people buy about satellites and just about anything in space. It's amazing.
Yeah, I agree, but I think what we have here is the perfect example of cognitive dissonance, so to speak, and I'm I'm an example of it, because I really, satellites and satellite communication and how it works, it has been so well explained to us, and I thought, I understand this, and there is really no other way to make things like GPS or satellite TV to work. So I couldn't even consider them to be fake.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote about that on Clues Forum, is that because I was in this place for quite a few months, and I had read on Clues Forum, and I talked to you, but I was still convinced, that is as far as the lie goes, so to speak, or satellites is, if people doubt satellites, it's, a discredit by association thing or whatever. To think about, because I discussed with other people how manned space travel, and one major problem with that is re-entry, because if you're in orbit, as the official story goes, you have to go in 30,000 kilometers per hour to be able to stay in orbit, and that's an extremely high velocity.
Yeah, I know where you're going. It would be like driving through concrete when you get back into the denseness of the Earth's atmosphere. Yeah, there's so many problems with the stories that you just have to add. There's just a million problems with the official stories, and they contradict themselves all the time. One day they can get through the Van Allen belt, which is another fake something created in Mr. Van Allen's basement. There's no Van Allen belt. The only Van Allen belt is the one he wears to hold up his pants. So they make these stories up, and they contradict each other. The stories even contradict. One day they can do it, one day they can't. It makes no sense.
No.
And it's crazy that people buy into it. But they want to believe. They want to believe. People want to believe so badly in anything.
Yes, and also if we have believed a thing for such a long time, it's hard to see that it stop believing it, because I mean we've been born with this. I mean when I was a kid, I was reading magazines or children's books, how they went to the moon and stuff. So yeah, we're born with it. But just to continue where I went mentally, I thought about this. This is a ludicrous speed, and that makes re-entry probably impossible. But then how can you accelerate something to that speed? Because that is what you have to do if satellites is a reality. And I thought it was a bit strange. So and then I started reading at close form again, and I listened at some of your shows with Simon, where you discussed satellites and the satellite hoax, and I really could see then that everything fits together. You see the pattern of a hoax and HARP, and everything ties together. So and then I started to read with thread about rockets and vacuum, and then it really dawned on me, because I'm a practical person. I have been diving a lot in my. It's about pressure and how things works, and then it was so obvious for me that it's actually not possible for a rocket to work in vacuum, because the gas, the fuel has nothing to react against. So what of course happens if you fire a rocket and are able to reach the outer atmosphere is that it will not be able to go forward anymore and just fall down to the earth again. So it's so obvious, and I mean you could design a lot of experiments to show this, but it's still, and I've discussed this with people, but they just no, they must work in vacuum, and we have satellites, and just like I was before. But here we are.
But tell us a little bit more about meeting Simon. What was it like? Was he everything you expected he would be like?
Yeah, I think so. He's a very humble and nice person, and it was really enjoyable to talk to him about these things, and it was great meeting him. And it's so great because we are not that far from each other. He lives down in Italy, and that's about 1 or 2 hours with the plane. So we will try to go and visit him as well, and up the connection. So yeah, that was great. And he's such a brilliant researcher. Really, it's hard to look at his research, and I mean there are of course other good researchers in this field, but it's hard for us to look at this research and understand it. And I can't imagine how hard it is to do it from scratch. To see these things and be able to tease through all this information and stuff, and see what's really going on.
Mm-hmm. Was he able to share any of his solar system information with you that he's working on so diligently?
Yeah.
Does it sound? Because I don't know where you stand on the ball or the flat or something in between. But I'm just curious if his views conflicted with your new views or your old views.
No, really not. I'm a baller.
Is that right?
Yeah, very much. And I am in the very.
Is Folius a baller too?
Yes, I am.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, but because I mean, you have to be humble, and you can't be arrogant, and as I have been kind of around satellites, but I mean it was was hard to me to really look into it and understand it. But I think I understand how, on what scale you have been fooled and deceived. You start looking into everything. And I have looked into flat Earth, but I don't see anything there. I mean, it's been a fact, or I mean, it's been known since the old Greeks that the Earth is a ball, and you can measure, you can look at the ships at sea, and but flat Earth to say it's an illusion. Well, I think it's a bit too many things confirms to me, at least, that the Earth is very.
So did Simon's new plan, was it, is there any of it you can elaborate on?
Some of it, it's at Clues Forum. There is a thread, I think it's called something SSS, Early Musings. I think he called it some Simon's. I don't know what all the S's are for, but they
Simon Shack Solar System.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
that's what it is.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the main thing with it is that he looks at Tycho Brahe's celestial model from the 1600s, and he explains it well. I mean, that model makes much more sense than the heliocentric model, for a number of reasons, but. And I don't want to much about it because he's still working on it. So
even if you told me about it without diagrams, I don't know if I'd even understand what you're saying. It's hard to visualize a lot of these ideas for me anyway. Even if he was telling me about it, I don't know. I'm not sure why it has to be such a secret. Why it can't be just an evolving thing and collaborative thing with the great minds of the internet, but he wants to keep it this way. Just interesting.
Yeah, he wants to, and I think he wants to do that. Until he thinks he's finished with it, or kind of has figured out things, and I can understand that. And from what I've heard him say about it, I think it's an theory, and it solves a lot of problems that we have with the heliocentric model. So and also, I mean, if you imagined we have been deceived, or I don't know if it's a mistake that has been established through the centuries as a dogma or a truth, or if it is deception. But I would say maybe it's probably on purpose. And if he's able to 100 years later, so that would be pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, regular astronomers probably won't consider it. It's a lot of sense. But I'm interested. Yeah.
I want to go back to September Clues. Did you guys watch the movie all the way through at the talk?
No, we didn't watch it at the talk.
Oh,
no, it was he showed images and animated GIFs and talked from the movie. And talked around those. So it wasn't a screening of the movie.
We wrote in the invitation that guests should watch it or watch September Clues site themselves before coming to the event to have some pre-knowledge.
So how many? I'm just trying to figure out how effective the talk was. That's really what I'm after in convincing others. How effective was the talk in convincing others? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah. I see. It's hard to tell. I think it was about around 30 people.
Yeah. Do you think this is a good way to convince people to have these talks?
I think it's pretty good, and I think it's good to meet people in real life that talks about these things, because when you look at the internet and when you read things, it's not as it doesn't make as an impression as when you talk to people or when you have these live. I think it's a good way to get this message through. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, especially when you can film it and put it on YouTube as well. I think we have from Bengt Dahlev, your colleague, we have about 4,000 views of the YouTube clip, and at the presentation I think we had 80 participants. So the message have at least been seen of 4,000 people, and it's more than you can put into a lecture hall.
Yeah.
Where you have a clip somewhere?
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel. I think it's on that.
Where's the link to that? Can you give me the link, please?
Yeah, one moment.
Bing is here in the audio chat live stream at fakeologist.com/radio3. Yes, I'll put a widget eventually to the live stream there. But Bing, if you want to join in and ask a question, please feel free.
But the talks are in Swedish. Yes.
Oh, I know. I wouldn't be able to understand one word of it.
Do you know the story behind the Swedish chef and the Muppet Show?
Absolutely not. I barely remember the Swedish chef.
It's pretty funny because it was a chef in an American TV show. I think it was in the 70s or 80s or something. You know, Good Morning America or something, I think. And
okay.
He was having a cooking show, you know, a short episode where he was doing some cooking, and he got so nervous when he did it. So he started talking to himself in Swedish and appeared very nervous, you know, when he tried to make his cake or whatever.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah, so and what the American audience heard then when you know a nervous Swede was told, you know, humsty dumpty 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 dumpty, and then the Muppet Show. Och det låter väl rätt mycket så när man pratar svenska liksom, att man hör inte vad han säger.
Now, what did he just say? What did he say? Thanks, Sir Napoleon, for dropping that link into the live stream chat, by the way.
He don't say anything. It's just
it was nonsense? Gibberish, yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's nonsense, yeah. But that's probably what Swedish sounds to. If you, I mean, I will talk some real Swedish. Och jag menar, om jag pratar svenska med dig så det låter ju liksom, ja, det låter ju ungefär, tror jag, som svenska kocken för dig. And I was saying, if I talk Swedish, it probably sounds just like the Swedish chef to you, but to us it's a real language, actually.
Mm-hmm. What is there any language close to Swedish?
Yeah, of course. Danish and Norwegian is very close.
Okay, so you could, if you could understand Danish and Norwegian if you had to.
It's easier to understand Norwegian. Danish is a bit harder. Mm-hmm. But
so they're close enough. So okay. Oh, hold on. What is ringing here? Was that my ring? Was that my noise or your noise?
Maybe it was my noise.
I think it was your noise. Nobody calls me. I don't even know what it was. I think it was one of your noises. You guys get, that was a Google phone noise. Use Google phones?
I don't think I'm guilty. No, I don't think there's a noise from it.
It sounded so loud, I thought it was mine.
I'm curious, Ab, if you don't mind me asking, how come you're so into flat Earth? What's the thing? Why do you find it plausible or interesting or whatever?
Well, I guess it's just so obvious, or it should be so obvious one way or the other, the nature of the Earth. But it's not. It's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to get a handle on without getting up above where we are and looking down. And doesn't matter which side you're on. I don't find either side really compelling. Therefore, it's just one of those issues that doesn't go away. And as a matter of fact, I have another video that I shot right down on the beach. And I'm not sure if it will help the globalists or help the flat earthers. I'm just going to put it up there and let people look at it. Because I'm a real person and I took a real video. And I live on the lake and I can look across and not see curvature. And it's as simple as that. If I didn't live on a lake or if I lived on a mountaintop, it would be harder to make a judgment. But I look across the lake every single day and I see things that I shouldn't see. And I don't really get any further than that explanation. I don't discuss the stars, or I don't really find an interest in the stars or any of those other cosmological characteristics of whatever the shape of the Earth is. So it's just, and it's on it dominates a lot of the NASA chatter as well. And whether you think that's discredit by association, it doesn't matter really for me. I can separate the two, but it's out there and it's discussed by a lot of people, and one can ignore what everyone's talking about, or one can try and engage and try and figure it out. So I just present the information. I'm somewhat agnostic about it, but I'm somewhat interested. I somewhat consider it important. I see the people that think it's important, and I see the people that are agnostic about it. I understand the difference, and I'll just keep listening and keep trying to formulate my opinion. I'm not passionate either way, but I'm just amazed again. Why the silence from so many smart scientists and people? Why are they so loath to address this? It should be a slam dunk either way. And there is no slam dunk either way. And again, it's not what's true in a lot of ways, it's what's perceived as true. And if everyone thinks one way and they're all wrong, that's fascinating to me. So it's a complex interest in it. I go hot and cold over. I could go for months without caring about it. I don't see how these people on YouTube carry on day in and day out. They don't have anything to say that's interesting or new. So that's annoying to me. But anyway, yeah. Napoleon says it's career suicide to step up and discuss it.
No, I don't think so. Of course it's not, and everything should be discussed. But I think the flat Earth thing has been talked a lot about, and I think it's talked a lot more about than other issues. And I think if it is discredit by association thing, which I find very plausible, because as they mentioned on Close Forum, that was not much talk about the shape of the Earth before looking into the NASA hoax. Now suddenly there are enormous amounts of talks about the shape of the Earth, and of course that takes away focus from other things. So yeah, I don't know.
It might add to it, though. I don't know if it necessarily takes away. I think it also adds to it. It just creates more people talking about it. I think it might be a net neutral thing.
But the thing is, if you, because including myself, and I really looked into it now, because I have to look into everything, but it's so unplausible that the Earth should not be round. And even if you can or think you have problems with that, that the Earth is round, it's not really very possible to conclude it has any other shape. But I mean, if you look, like the horizon, flight times, look at the moon, look at the sun, it's a circle, and if you see it from the side, it's plausible it's a globe, and the Earth has the same kind of shape. I don't know. Yeah,
well, nothing you just said was convincing in any way. Again, flat lake and seeing right across the lake is a big problem for me. And I'm just using the numbers, the official numbers of the radius of the Earth, and therefore you can easily apply a curvature formula. I don't see that being disputed, and therefore there should be more of a curve on the lake. That's my main argument.
Yeah. Okay, I hear you. So let's talk about something else. I started this, but
that's okay. I don't mind talking about it. It certainly lends itself to lively debate. The Hoaxbusters call went ballistic last night because of it, and it always does. And neither side is compelling to me.
Yeah. So
neither side compels me. Did you listen to it?
No, I didn't. But I have listened to an earlier Hoaxbusters call, I think, when he talked, and I think he did a very good job about discussing things like flight times and I mean, it doesn't add up. But
the flight times is not going to be compelling to me. It's not going to compel me. That doesn't work for me, because they got time zones, and you've got different reasons why planes take different paths to catch the wind, to avoid to catch fuel stops. They fly on certain lines in the air just to avoid collision. They have highways in the sky just to keep everyone on the straight and narrow. None of that is going to help me make a decision on the shape of the Earth. So that to me is a waste of time talking about. And of course, when you're in the air, you have no idea where you are relative to the ground. You have no way as a passenger. You might as a pilot, but you have no way as a passenger knowing where the hell you are, how fast you're going. There's just no possible way. And you don't even really know what direction you're going either. And I don't know if the compasses work very well up there, just a handheld compass. I don't know. So none of that information is useful. You may as well talk about something else if you want to make an impression.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see. But let's talk about something else.
Yeah. Well, I mainly wanted to talk to you about Simon's visit and how you found it, and where you're going to go from there.
I think it's, as we said, it was a good talk, well received, and it was great to meet Simon. And I think we'll meet and talk more down the road, and maybe in the future can do another talk here in Sweden, and maybe talk about this new celestial model or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But
did anyone take a clues forum disc, or did anyone come up to you and say, how many people met with Simon after besides you guys? Anyone come up and chat with him? Anyone really challenge him hard, and was he able to convince them after a challenge?
Yeah, a few people challenged him during the talk, and it was the thing, with how there were so many people in New York, and that must have seen this and that, and all the witnesses, and so they found it hard to believe that all these people could be actors, or it could be to do deception like this in this scale, and someone was very questioned that the buildings was brought down behind a smoke barrier or behind a military smoke screen. But I I found that very believable because, and as Simon has pointed out, nothing can produce those amounts of smoke that stays in one place for such a long time. Manhattan was covered in smoke almost the whole day. Mm-hmm. That's not possible to do in any other way, I think, than with artificial smoke or created smoke. Yeah, but there was some people questions during the talk, and I think that was very good. And then afterwards we went to a restaurant, and the ones who wanted to join could join, and then we talked a bit more. But the time we closed, it was more about other things and like the celestial models. And Simon is a bit, he sold 9/11 for us. Mm-hmm. And he's been looking at this for 10 years now. I think he's on to other things, and it's up to us to so to speak, like you do. I think you do a great job, Ab, with.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really do, and you have raised awareness around this for a long time, and thanks to you, both me and Martin, and I think a lot of other people have what actually happened that day. Mm-hmm. 16 years ago. Soon 17 years ago, yeah.
Did I get your view on my EGI research?
Yeah, I'm not. Well, it's interesting, but it doesn't, there could be guys appearing as women and women appearing as male, but I don't know. It doesn't. To me, I don't. I mean, not like flat Earth in the sense that I don't think the Earth is flat, but those things, it's kind of a conspiracy that doesn't. I don't. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But I think a lot of other things are. But I mean, yeah, I think it's also interesting in a way, and I think so many celebrities and experts and scientists are for the network in different ways and promoting their views and opinions and psyops, and of course the media people on the TV channels, and so that they are at the very center of this. And of course, very skilled in and almost promoting the propaganda that they are supposed to promote. Mm-hmm. So I haven't really listened that much to those shows you had about.
Oh, that's fine. Well, I look forward to any podcast you and Folius have. That'll be fine.
Yeah, we try to work out the technique, and we might you might be helpful to give us some tips how to record when you chat on Discord, for example. We haven't found that out yet.
Probably wouldn't be able to understand it.
Yeah, you have problems with the microphone there, or?
Was I broken up?
Yeah, we couldn't hear you.
Now we hear you fine.
Yeah, I'm having something is talking on my system resources right now. It's amazing. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so maybe we could have a little how to make a Discord, and how do you do it there? What do you use? What kind of?
I'll say that one more time.
Maybe you could talk about. We could have you could talk a little about how you do a podcast. What kind of? I mean, you use Discord, and but what other kind of tools do you use? What kind of programs and?
Well, that's fine. I have quite a few free. They're all free. I have a broadcaster. software that connects to a Icecast server. Icecast. That is what broadcasts live. I use Audacity to record it. And there's just a lot of little programs that all run at the same time. It's whatever YouTube Live is, but I have many programs that make up and do the same thing. Simulate YouTube Live. So they all have to be started up at the same time, and they all have to work together, and they all have to be interfaced, so it's a whole thing. It's a challenging thing, but I do get it working. But I pay for an Icecast server. If you want, I can give you the link of the place I use. I think I have it listed on what Ab uses on Fakeologist.com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know how important it is these days to broadcast live. I'm not sure anyone really needs that anymore.
No, I think it's much easier to just record it. And we thought that we might start, for example, with Discord and see if we can put out the audio for an audience and see if we can get some people to listen to it.
Yes.
But how do you record the sound here and get the audio file to put up on the internet?
How do I record it?
Yeah, how do you put up the streamer bot that records the sound, and how do you get the audio file?
Well, the streamer bot is just for broadcasting live. That's what that's for. The audio file is I use Audacity to record it, and then you just save it. There's nothing to it. And then just put it on your website.
Good, we'll look into that. Probably figure it out, yeah.
Yeah. Well. You're listening to another hour of Fakeologist audio chat on Fakeologist.com.
Speaking about fakeology and hoaxes, I saw an interesting video, but I should, of course, try to find it now when I mention it. But it was interesting because it's, to me, I've always, not all, but I've rockets, these Apollo rockets, and I have, even modern rockets and the space shuttle and such. They rise so majestically and slowly. And then there was a video I stumbled onto that had a theory that the rockets, they may be called hydrogen balloons, rocket power hydrogen balloons, that you have an aluminium shell that you fill with hydrogen, and then you just have a atom. But what actually sends or helps the rocket to go up into the sky is the balloon.
Yeah, you're quite interested in that whole affair, aren't you? It's interesting.
The space hoax?
No, just the rocket aspect of it.
I thought that was interesting because I want to figure out how they do it, how they do the whole space hoax. I think it's very interesting, yeah. Don't you?
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of it is just Hollywood. Most of it is.
Yeah. But you didn't find that very believable, Folius, that it could be hydrogen balloons?
No, if you can use Hollywood, why you put effort in making hydrogen balloons?
Well, they could use them for other things.
Yeah, and then you can do a live show. You could have a lot of spectators witnessing a real launch and seeing the rocket go up in the sky. Well, hoax, I would say.
Yeah, but if you're not allowed to get closer than 5 or 13 kilometers or what it is, then what can you see from that distance?
No, not much, but you still have to have something that goes up in the sky, even if it's smaller, if it's not real scale or, but you need to have something. If I can find this, couldn't find that really. Try.
All right, guys. Well, I got to carry on with my day. I just wanted to have you both together on a call for a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have much more to add today. I've just got some stuff to do, but I saw you both there. As I often do with the Discord, it's a fantastic service, and you guys can drop in any time. Patrik's been verified now, so you can use the audio chat, as is Folius Hatius.
Yes.
Anytime you have something to add or you want to discuss, you're certainly welcome to.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll try to find out how you do the trick with Audio City and get the audio file from chatting on Discord.
Yeah, well, you have to be able to record from Discord.
And, yeah.
What kind of machines do you use? Windows?
Yeah, I
Yes.
have Windows.
Yes, you need, you could just, let's see if there's an easy way to record from Discord. How to record Discord. Let's see what they say. Tutorial. I have my own. It looks like there's different, Voicemeeter banana.
Yeah, we'll figure it out one way or another.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I use another program, but there's something called Voicemeeter banana. Never heard of it. It's kind of a dumb name. Voicemeeter. I wonder what it costs.
Oh, yeah, I'm probably on the same link now. Yeah, install Voicemeeter banana. Advanced virtual audio device. Yeah, so many different tools and options.
How much? Where's the price?
Free.
It's donationware. Oh, fantastic. I might look it up, actually.
Yeah.
I use a program called Virtual Audio Cables, but it's not nearly as fancy. Interesting. I might look at this. So there's many ways. I see there's banana, virtual audio cables. Virtual audio cables.
Is that what you use today? Virtual audio cables?
Yeah, but it's not this. This is different. I'm just looking through this page. It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a huge page. That's a lot of work. I have to look at that. It looks like they have a lot of different software on their page. It all looks really special or little I don't know why they call the banana one banana.
Are you on that page, steamit.com?
Steamit? What's that?
That's the one where I searched on how to record Discord, and then the third hit was a page.
Yeah, I use virtual audio cables. I've been using it for a long, long time. And, but obviously there's others right now. I like this one. I like the fancy inputs there. It's pretty neat. But yeah, definitely, there's lots of things you could do.
Yeah.
Napoleon just came in. Maybe Napoleon wants to chat with you guys.
Hi, Napoleon. Yeah, you say UK.
Hi, Patrik. So just had to come in and say hello because I was chatting to you earlier. How are you?
How are you?
I'm super duper, my friend. Nice to see you again, Ab.
Yeah, nice to see you, Napoleon. Thanks for all the links there.
Not a problem, my friend. I enjoy it so much. I've got a bit of a dodgy connection, so I sort of have to sign out of one thing and then come into the other. So sorry if I wasn't listening live and able to contribute, but that way it's a little bit better. I get to focus a little bit more.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I just was dropping in to say hi to these two guys doing the good work of 9/11, so I wanted to say hi to them.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And I left a little message in chat for you, sir. So you've got to go out and enjoy the summer. Yeah,
I'm trying. It's nice today. I got stuff to do, but yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it was only a short, just to pop in and say thank you to all the people that contribute and everyone involved. It's good, it's great. And cheers, Folius, and cheers, Patrik. It's lovely to hear you.
Cheers, Napoleon.
Cheers. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'll mute now, lads, and I'll let you carry on with what you.
I'm pretty much done. I'm pretty much done, but yeah, thanks, Napoleon. Napoleon's a big supporter of the site, and much appreciated. He's battling with typo error all the time.
No, me and I'll be the first to buy typo pint. It's not a problem. Me and him, he's ace. We don't.
He's a good guy, but the audio's not good when he talks over people. I told him that, so he's got to stop that.
Yeah, I think it's only the vicinity that allows me to pop, but he's been really nice. So I'm just going to be listen to him for 5 minutes and let him wear himself out.
Yeah, it's not good audio though.
Well, either way, it's been lovely listening very much.
All right, take care, guys. All right, I'm going to sign out, guys. I got things to do, but nice chatting with you all.
Yeah, you too.
You too.
Take care, bye-bye. You guys can stay here, by the way. You can stay in if you want to chat some more. It's okay.
Yeah, we talk some in Swedish, okay? No.
All right. Yeah. All right, take care. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, it's me, Abirato. I've got a website called Fakeologist.com, and today I'm going to discuss Simon's World Trade Center actual destruction theory, which I find fascinating, and almost no evidence anywhere on the interwebs as to how it was done. By the way, you can join us every Saturday night around 9:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we discuss this and many other prescient topics around the 9/11 media hoax event. Now let me get right to the post. If you click on from December 1st, my entry here, you will see a link to the post I'm going to read to you right now. So let's get to it. How pulling the towers was pulled off. I will hereby submit my best take as to how the World Trade Center demolitions in Lower Manhattan were achieved, without awakening undue suspicions among that early morning's bystanders, eyewitnesses. No wonder the whole thing was staged in the early morning hours, so as to minimize the amount of onlookers. However hypothetical my reasoning may seem, I trust that readers will appreciate the logical processes that I have applied in order to formulate this tentative, final reckoning of how the magic trick sleight of hand of 9/11 was concocted, and how the Twin Towers were demolished in bright daylight without any onlooking New Yorkers being able to understand what exactly they saw, and much less prove that what they saw was different from what was aired on television. Here's a brief summary of my conclusions in 3 short paragraphs. A military-grade smokescreen was raised before the supposed 9/59 collapse of World Trade Center 2. The possibility that any odd bystanders in what by then was a fully evacuated area would have noticed or captured on film any smoke billowing from the ground up before 9:59 a.m. was extremely slim. However, this slim possibility was anticipated by the 9/11 planners, with their Willie Boom Rodriguez actor and his tales of basement explosions prior to the plane crashes. Thus, any ground-level smoke witnessed before 9:59 a.m. would have had the plausible deniability alibi of these mysterious pre-collapse, quote-unquote, basement explosions. Point 2. On live TV, these basement explosions were in fact reported on the Fox channel within 40 seconds of the purported World Trade Center 2 collapse at 9:59 a.m. It is clear, therefore, that these World Trade Center basement explosions were meant, according to the 9/11 Psyop script, to have occurred way before the first World Trade Center 2 collapse. Again, this was likely meant to provide the alibi for any smoke seen around the towers, or even recorded on film by onlookers, before their collapse. Any lucky filmmakers wishing to expose the scam would then have to prove that their camera's timestamp clock was set at the correct time, which would of course be impossible. There's no way to prove it. Point 3. Once the smokescreen was deemed dense enough and enveloped the entire World Trade Center complex, the controlled demolition of the Twin Towers were go. When exactly this took place is nothing that we can ever know, yet any time between 9:59 and 10:28 is a good guess. Please note that 29 minutes, 2 plus 9 equals 11, magic numbers as I've many times pointed out, separate the 2 alleged World Trade Center collapse timelines, which is just another occult numerology joke. The two towers were likely pulled simultaneously. Let me now back up this brief summary with what was aired on TV. I hope you will stay with me throughout this reasoning process. What was aired on CNN? The way the first World Trade Center 2 collapse was not shown on CNN is quite hilarious. Pathetic thing to watch again today. And an extremely revealing sequence timeline of purported historical live TV images. Firstly, just pay attention at the words uttered by CNN's Aaron Brown, apparently standing on the CNN building's rooftop with a spectacular view of the towers, starting at about 29:20, which is another joke, of the CNN archive clip, which you can find at archive.org. So, in fact, the actual World Trade Center 2 collapse was not shown live on CNN, their TV feed at the time being busy covering the Pentagon event, and Aaron Brown appears to be totally clueless as to what is supposed to be going on at the World Trade Center. We just see the World Trade Center area completely enveloped in smoke, as it probably was in reality, yet not as a result of the World Trade Center 2 collapse, but more likely due to a military-grade smoke screen being raised. At 32 minutes and 20 seconds, a full 3 minutes later, Aaron still talks about another possible explosion, and that we are getting reports that parts of the second tower appears to have collapsed. We are checking on that. No one has yet informed Aaron that the World Trade Center 2 has fully collapsed. Amazing, huh? The thing is, if only Aaron had been watching NBC or Fox, he would have seen the World Trade Center 2 collapsing in, quote, real time. Yet there he is, still wondering what happened for 3 minutes and more than 5 minutes will pass before his CNN colleagues in the studio finally run a replay of the actual brackets CGI animation of the World Trade Center 2 collapse imagery. Why on earth would the CNN producer wait for over 5 long minutes to air the World Trade Center 2 collapse, which their cameramen had supposedly captured? At 34:40, more than 5 full minutes after the World Trade Center 2 supposedly collapsed, Aaron finally announces, "We can show you now what happened just a few minutes ago at the World Trade Center." And CNN viewers are finally treated with this most momentous, world-defining news imagery. Yet, their main anchorman was supposedly standing on the CNN building's rooftop with a direct bird's-eye view of the World Trade Center. Oh well, so we're asked to believe that he was turning his back on the spectacular, brackets green screen, view, and unfortunately just missed witnessing the collapse itself at 9:59 a.m. Yeah, right. What was shown on NBC and Fox? So much for CNN reporting the World Trade Center 2 collapse live. Now, was the World Trade Center 2 collapse aired on other networks, purportedly just as it happened at 9:59 a.m.? Yes, believe it or not, but it was shown on NBC in this way. Check out the NBC archives if you think I'm kidding you. If you cannot see how fake this imagery is, now, in 2013, there is no way I can help you. Keep buying it, if you so wish. And on Fox TV, the World Trade Center collapse was also shown in one half of a split-screen shot, yet no one in the TV studio seemed to notice. Instead, the imagery quickly switched to some dramatic, gory yellow-green, imagery of the World Trade Center area enveloped in smoke, initially mistaken by Fox anchor Jim Ryan to be images from the Pentagon. Fox flop, linked to exact World Trade Center collapse timeline, right there. Here we have Fox's Dave Price reporting about some basement explosions in the World Trade Center only 40 seconds after its collapse as seen on TV. So wait a minute, are we to believe that Dave Price was informed, by whom, about these basement explosions within 40 seconds, while Aaron Brown of CNN remained uninformed for over 5 minutes about the collapse of the entire World Trade Center 2 building? The basement explosions were obviously part of the original 9/11 Psyop script, so as to justify why smoke emerged around the World Trade Center area before they collapsed. It is all up to reader to draw her conclusions, but I believe this all goes to support my quite simple smokescreen thesis, which goes like this. Point A. The entire World Trade Center complex was engulfed in military-grade smoke obscurants before they were demolished, with conventional explosives. No one saw them collapsing, and no imagery or footage exists of their demise, since no conventional cameras can film through thick smoke. Point B. What we were shown on TV was a prefabricated movie which, in fact, was rather smartly made, since it showed Lower Manhattan enveloped in an enormous, lingering cloud of smoke for most of that fateful morning. However, we know that no controlled demolition produces as much smoke as seen on TV on 9/11. Please watch any videos of building demolitions and realize that the dust of any large building being demolished settles in the matter of minutes. That enormous amount of smoke on 9/11 enveloping Manhattan 4 hours was produced by military-grade smoke machines, and the prefabricated TV images were made to simulate this predictable scenery. To sum it up, the World Trade Center was demolished behind a smoke screen which was raised sometime before the alleged 9:59 a.m. collapse of the World Trade Center 2. So, people, the point here is do not fret, do not fear. There is no magical weapons. There are no nuke weapons, let alone mini nukes that were used to take down the towers. The towers were simply demolished by conventional means, probably by the CDI Corporation, which is the biggest that has demolished towers all around the world. And Simon's thesis really makes the most sense. Of course, it's just a thesis, but he supported it with some very interesting evidence, trying to piece together the ridiculous timeline around the CNN, Fox, ABC, NBC footage. So I think he's done a fantastic job of figuring out what exactly happened in New York. If you haven't seen his movie September Clues, go to septemberclues.info. Go to cluesforum.info for some fantastic discussion on exactly how this was pulled off. And do not be alarmed. Do not worry about mystical, magical space beams, nuclears, mini nukes. Just believe, if you wish, that this whole thing was done in a very dramatic fashion using the media to completely hoodwink and fool you. So if you want to talk about this with other like-minded individuals, meet me on Saturday night at 9/11 at Fakeologist.com. Thank you for listening. Hi everybody, it's me, Abirato. Got a website called Fakeologist.com where we expose media fakery one psyop at a time. And today I want to talk about how the World Trade Center was demolished. And I created a blog entry today referring to Simon Shack of Clues Forum. He has a great post trying to put to bed the whole rabbit trail scenario set out by those that are trying to continue to deceive us in 2013, fully 12 years later. So I'm going to read most of his post here. There's a link to it right here on my blog. Click there, and it'll bring you to his post here. And I'm just going to read it to you. It's how exactly were the towers demolished? Well, the answer is trusty old-fashioned dynamite charges, perchance. We have demonstrated on this forum, in every imaginable manner, that all the 9/11 imagery depicting the crucial events of the day were fake, and that includes the tower collapse imagery. In all logic, since the primary objective of the 9/11 Psyop was to bring down the entire World Trade Center complex, 9 buildings in all, and blame it on a bunch of Muslim suicide terrorists hijacking airplanes, the planners of this media-supported hoax would not have run the foolish risk to show the actual collapses on live TV for the whole world to see. Common sense dictates that, since the perps could rely on the news networks airing fake imagery, they would have used this asset to its full potential. Yet there are still some 9/11 researchers, whether they be trolls or honest truth seekers, proposing that the Twin Towers must have been brought down with some super special explosive, such as nanothermite, mini nukes, or directed energy weapons. On this forum, we are now familiar with the main proponents of such exotic and largely untested demolition methods: Stephen Jones, Richard Gage, Judy Wood, Jim Fetzer, Dmitry Kalazov, and a few other clowns. All of them are, in my mind, obviously protecting the media network's role on 9/11. They've all reached their conclusions by staring at the available tower collapse imagery, which we have now proven to be totally fraudulent. The problem for most people is, of course, to get to terms with the fact that what we saw on TV was not the actual collapses of the towers. It stands to reason that the 9/11 Psyop planners, perps, would have used the oldest, simplest, and most foolproof trick to hide the proceedings: to engulf the World Trade Center complex area in military-grade smoke obscurance before the start of the demolition. Yet this most logical of all schemes seems to be, oddly enough, a tough thing for people to wrap their minds around. Instead, we have had 12 years on all sorts of 9/11 truth forums of incessant bickering about the exact type of explosives used to bring down those tall, steel-framed towers. Endless circular debates about this ultimately irrelevant issue has monopolized the attention, the time, the efforts, and the intellectual resources of scores of well-meaning truth seekers. And we all know that the largest and best-funded truther organization, namely Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth, was probably set up to achieve just that: to bamboozle everyone with a million scientific theories. I mean, come on. Those A&E for 9/11 Truth people do not even question the inane official NIST data, which has Tower 2 and Tower 1 collapsing in 9 and 11 seconds respectively. Can anyone with a working brain buy this in-your-face intelligence insult? So what I wish to say is this: enough is enough. Let us stop giving the benefit of doubt to the above-mentioned clowns, blatantly recruited to waste everyone's time. Let's get real now, folks. And to those still wondering exactly how the towers were brought down, I will simply ask, have you ever heard of dynamite? You know, that explosive invented by my fellow countryman, Alfred Nobel? Yeah, that genius arms manufacturer, after which the Nobel Peace Prize was named? Do you know that all building demolitions in the world have used dynamite for many decades now, and that it is the most universally tested and reliable method employed to demolish buildings with? To those still on the fence about conventional, ultra-reliable demolition methods being employed on 9/11, here's my question. What's your problem? Do you think that dynamite couldn't make the World Trade Center towers collapse? that this demolition technology wasn't up to the job in 2001? Were the towers too tall for that? Well, think again. Here's what the Loiseau Controlled Demolition Company achieved back in 1977. The Biltmore Hotel demolition of 1977. Hey, the Biltmore Hotel even looks like it collapses top down. Dynamite charges were evidently put in the upper floors. So much for those naysayers retorting that, duh, if they'd animated the 9/11 collapse images, they would have made more realistic looking collapse videos. Simon goes on to list a few selected articles about the Biltmore Hotel demolition, and let's just see if we see any parallels, for instance, with the World Trade Center towers. When it fell, the 245-foot-high structure became the tallest steel-frame building to be demolished with explosives, but none presented the problems that the Biltmore did. Quote, "It's the heaviest steel we've ever worked on," unquote, says Mark Loiseau of Controlled Demolition, Inc. "Because of the thickness of the steel, a single charge wouldn't penetrate completely through. We had to attack a single 3-inch thick stem plate from both sides." Another quote, "The Biltmore was 33, our favorite number, stories high, and was heralded as the state's tallest building. On October 16, 1977, the Hotel Biltmore was demolished by a team of demolition specialists. Hundreds of low-yield explosives were planted throughout the building so that it would collapse and fall inward into an acceptable area only slightly larger than the hotel's foundation." Sound familiar? The purpose was both to break the materials into smaller pieces that would be easily transported away, sound familiar, and to contain the blast and debris within the area in order to minimize damage to surrounding structures. Sound familiar? The razing was recorded by hundreds of camera buffs. The Biltmore was certainly the largest building to fall during the urban renewal era. The explosion that took down the 26-story, 600-room hotel in 1977 was televised across the country, so certainly it made an impression. Sound familiar? The building is enormous. It is concrete. It is full of steel. It reaches many stories into the turquoise sky. All around it is a teeming city. There is traffic in the streets. Huge and delicate office suites of glass and steel are right next door. And nearly 1 million people live nearby. Sound familiar? Yet the building is decaying. It is abandoned and crumbling. Well, so is the World Trade Center. But it wasn't crumbling. Police have had to remove squatters several times. It is a danger to the city and must be removed. But how to do so without creating even more of a threat? There is a sound of sirens, then a deep, almost subliminal explosion. And slowly, almost gracefully, the building seems to melt into itself. The glass suites were unharmed. The traffic hurries on. The 1 million people barely notice. And my argument is, on 9/11/2001, if there even was 1 million people that were looking up, they probably would have rushed home to get a better look on their television sets. And oh, what a picture awaited them on their TVs. So Simon finally concludes. So this 33-story hotel was neatly demolished in 1977 with conventional dynamite explosives. Does anyone still contend that the 110-story World Trade Center towers were impossible to demolish with the very same yet much perfected methods in 2001, 24 years later after the Biltmore? I sincerely hope we can finally get over this endless and tiresome debate. If you're not familiar with the Cruise Forum, and if you're not familiar with Fakeologist, I strongly suggest you book a week and go through either or both sites and learn that the world that's brought to you on your television is not reality. There are so many things happening in the media that are just outright lies. There's no magic demons out there. There's no magic super weapons. There's just fakery, and lots of it. So come on over, educate yourself, free yourself from the most destructive thing on the planet, which is fear. Thank you for listening.
So